Back with another film room. All right. We're going to do the Toronto Raptors game from a couple nights ago. I picked out the Mavs' two lowest scoring quarters, which were the second and the third. I have not watched this yet in terms of the actual game. I was following on my phone, but I was with family, so I couldn't watch the game. So we'll watch and react live to it together. I don't really have any thoughts. We held, I think I've said it before, like if you can hold a modern day NBA team below 110, I think that's okay. That's decent, and I guess real quick, the Boston Celtics game, I streamed that game before I left for the holidays, for Thanksgiving. And, that was just a bad game. Boston is just kind of a whole nother level above us right now, especially defensively. Their offense has come a long way too, I think. And, I actually probably might have more complaints on the defensive end with that game than the offensive, which is usually not the route that I take. I felt like we were getting beat off the dribble way too much. And again, I kind of say with defense. Defense is a lot about just energy and position and maybe a scheme or two thrown in, or maybe you're trying to do one or two things to one or two specific players on their team, right? Trying to pick up on tendencies kind of thing. But it's mainly energy and position. And first of all, we were getting beat off the dribble really bad by, Boston is a little bit more of a guard heavy team. A little bit like us, maybe even more so. Again, that's just the league in general right now, right? I mean, there's just not many pure big men much anymore that can't dribble or put it on the floor or shoot in some manner. I mean, even Giannis is shooting a 3 or 2 a game, that kind of thing. Look at someone like Jokic, even Embiid can shoot it, right? So, the Boston game, I thought our defense was pretty bad. I'm going to put it on the defensive end, honestly, for that game. Luka had an amazing game, very efficient. Just no help right now with Luka, just no pressure being taken off him on the offensive end. But defensively with Boston, I felt like we were getting beat off the dribble way too much. And, what kind of was frustrating about that game is that they were hitting their threes, so you kind of have to run at them, right, when they're hitting it the way they were. And it felt like, when they were just getting right to the basket. I thought we gave up a few easy offensive rebounds whenever there'd be 2 or 3 Mavericks around and one Celtic would somehow come up with it or tip it out. And I felt like perhaps we were leaking out a little too early instead of making sure we secured the rebound. I felt like I saw that like 2, 3, 4 times, something like that during the game, which is a lot, right? You should never give up an offensive rebound to the other team, especially if you have position like we did. It's one thing if a guy kind of gets position or you're kind of, you're flying around trying to recover and a guy kind of sneaks in for an offensive rebound. I mean, it happens, right? But some of the ways we gave up offensive rebounds in that game were just inexcusable. So it was a tough game to watch from a defensive end with the Celtics game. This is probably the first time I think I maybe had more frustrations with the defense than I did the offense. Luka was doing his thing, which should have given some relief to us, but I felt like we were closing out way too hard and fast without kind of breaking down. And understanding that if a ball is kicked out or gets swung around to the 3-point line and you're already beat, there's no reason to also give up the easy drive to the basket. Close out in a controlled manner, and if they're gonna have that open 3, they already have it. There's no reason to then also give up an easy drive to the basket. Is kind of what I felt like. Even if they're hitting them, I would still have them make that shot against you than letting them just easily dribble around you and, dicing you up that way. So that's kind of my take on the Boston game. So I've got the second and third quarter queued up here for Toronto. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. I've got it on 1.25 speed as usual. And let's just go ahead and watch it.
I remember the Boston Celtics game early in the year where he defensively, he just was
Luka's not on. We got Hardaway, Green, Maxey, Wood, and Dinwiddie. Wood needs to start. Wood has got to start. I don't know what's going on with him and Kidd. I'm up to here with Kidd. I honestly just cannot stand him anymore. Hardy needs to get called up. We need another ball handler / scorer, guy who can kind of create something. The front office right now is driving me bonkers with some of the decisions they're making and or lack of decisions they're making, whether it be sort of their hesitancy or not showing enough urgency with some of the things that they haven't done yet. And again, it's not as if we're talking about a tough decision here. You drafted Hardy first round. He's been killing it in the G League. We need someone at his position and what he does with his skill set so bad that it's kind of like a no-brainer to me. Wood has been producing and playing on offense so good, and he's an okay rebounder. For his size, he does okay on the glass. We need that too. Those two decisions right there, I just don't understand. I don't really think there's an excuse for it. And the amount of minutes that Hardaway Jr. has been getting, unless the only excuse I can give them is that maybe they are hoping Hardaway Jr. gets hot here or has a stretch or a week or two of good games, and maybe that boosts up his trade value. That is the only argument I'm willing to give them in terms of a devil's advocate kind of angle here, that they're hoping because Hardaway's got to go. I just, for what he's making the next 2-3 years on his contract, he's got to go. Just full stop. He needs to go. He's not worth it. I think he's an okay skill set of a player if he's hitting his shots. I think he's okay. He's not worth what he's getting paid, and so he needs to be moved, or we need to do something with him. Again, I'm going to keep clamoring for Kyrie. I think the Nets are trying to move him. I think they would want some assets in return. Bertans, Hardaway, Mac, and another player, whether it be Maxey, Green, McGee, somebody else, and maybe a pick or something for Kyrie, I think needs to be made immediately, or maybe we're waiting till the December 15th deadline or the opening up of perhaps, having McGee as part of a deal. I just think that makes too much sense for the Mav. If it's a possibility, if the Nets aren't interested in anything we have to offer, that's one thing, and I'll drop it, of course. But I think they're willing to move him, and I think Bertans, Hardaway, and someone else, etc., match Kyrie's contract. We can give them a pick, maybe two, and it just totally will reset and reposition the Mavericks for next year. Considering Kyrie's on a 1-year rental, he's a free agent at the end of this year. It just makes too much sense to not do it. Now, if the Nets don't want what we have to offer or something, I don't have an inside source. I don't talk to Cuban on the daily or anything, so that I can't speak to. But I think that should be the first thing the Mavs should do. Again, the Mavs need to make a move. They need to make a splash here. They need to do something, and I think that move has so many upsides and not a lot of risk, and even the risks that have can be mitigated in terms of just sending him home. I already made a video on this, so I don't really need to rehash it, but you guys can go check it out. But I just think that needs to be something. I pray to God, I pray every night to the basketball gods that Cuban is trying or is looking at Kyrie. So, if Kyrie's coming at a little bit of discount, I think something can be done there. I don't know completely, but that's just my 2 cents. Okay, let's go.
The menace, and he got an offensive foul right there. So he's affected a game where he defensively, he just was a menace, and he got an offensive foul right there.
And this, even though that's not much, I'm not really going to comment on that. But, this play does remind me, though, sometimes with me when I would play and you get frustrated. Maybe the offense isn't producing. You're not hitting your shots. And although Dinwiddie's been great, right? I don't think he personally has anything to be frustrated at in terms of his play. I really do feel like this offense and this team is frustrated right now. And, I think plays like that, again, that's really nothing, but I get a feeling of frustration with the play like that like Dinwiddie's getting hounded, Luka's getting hounded. There's so much pressure on those two guys, really those two guys. I mean, if you think about our offensive production and who has the ball in their hands most of the time, those two guys are at the crux of it. And I feel like they have a lot of weight on their shoulders, and I feel like they feel as if they're not getting a lot of help. And one of the guys that can help them is Wood, and for whatever reason, he's not getting enough minutes. I think almost anyone who's been watching us would agree with that. And so I don't know, again, that play's not much. There's nothing there, but I just get a sense of frustration with plays like that like, here's Dinwiddie is. He's going to have this guy hounding him. They know that the defense is going to be queued up on him when Luka's out, and even when Luka's in, they know he's the next option. That's just, again, that can kind of mount on you, especially considering Kidd is not running any kind of offense or doing anything to sort of get the ball out of these guys' hands, get some other guys moving, doing some other things to just free them up a little bit, right? That's just my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, so he's affected in game last year.
What does that do for Dalton Jr.?
Two things. If you're the type of
and again, I'm not going to go over the defense too much. They held Toronto to 105 points. I know that Siakam and another guy or two weren't in here, but again, anytime you can hold an NBA team these days to what I'll just call the single hundred digits, under 110 points essentially. I mean, that should be good enough, especially when you have someone like Luka who can stir the drink of an offense. And although I have many complaints about our offense, holding someone to under 110 should be good enough. And so in terms of like the defense and stuff, for this game, I'm just not really gonna break it down. The Boston game, I think, was I don't know what it was, because I think our defense is usually pretty solid. I don't think our defense gets shook a whole lot. And so, with the Boston game, I just felt like they came out hitting threes, and then from there, it's like we could just never, on the defensive end, get a feel for anything. Once they got an open three at a look, we were just running at them so hard, and they were putting the ball on the floor, and we were getting beat off the dribble a lot too, which is a problem.
Player that can just disregard your coach and insult, or if you're a pro like Gary Trent Jr. and go out and do what the coach needs you to do, put a fire up under your butt, and you go do it. And you see him doing it the past 2 games. 5 deflections alone last game when he was called out.
Corner 3.
I've talked about this before I don't really think we have any play sets. I literally do not think we have any specific play sets other than a few variations of the pick and roll, whether it be on ball or just getting a guy to come up. Just look at Hardaway here. Look at his hands.
Or if you're a pro like Gary Trent Jr. and go out and
you see that, how he's kind of like, what? Like, this offense is just so out of sync. There is just nothing going on. There's no fluidity to our offense, right? And because I think when you don't have a lot of ball movement, which we don't, we have a lot of heavy on-ball usage. I think there's just no feeling or flow to this offense. And just me, myself, I've definitely been more of an offensive guy when I've played. Defense was definitely something I lacked, just being honest. And, although on a team aspect of defense, I definitely got it. I just was never like very good athletically to be good at offense, but good at defense. But on the offensive end, I had a better understanding and a bit of a creativity to me and a decent skill set all around. Just for my average people that I played against, right? That I could create something for myself on offense in a way, and I could use certain things to my advantage. But like I said, defense is just so much energy and position that you can't really cover up weaknesses on the defensive end, if that makes sense. Whereas on the offensive end, I could, or I could attack weaknesses a lot better. And on the defensive end, that's just much harder to do. And so when I see this a few times a game where 2 guys will start to move at one time, and they're looking at each other, and they're like, no, you go, no, I'll go, or what should I do? Do you want me to come set a pick or not? I came to set a pick for Green, but he wasn't ready, and Hardaway's like, what do I see this way too often, considering our offense is not complex. It'd be one thing if we were running a bunch of off-ball movement, back screens, back cuts, backdoor picks, etc., but we're not. We're just running simple pick and rolls, go pick down for this guy here, he's going to pop up. And us being so out of sync so often that I see guys do that way too much. Again, it just is a red flag to me. So again, they're just going to set a simple down screen here for Green. He's going to pop up.
Do what the coach needs you to do. Put a fire up under your butt.
Green's going to just roll through.
And you go.
Then Wood's going to set essentially I guess you could call it a follow-up screen. The two guys who set that double screen, Wood's going to set a follow-up screen for Hardaway Jr. and then set another, after he gets the ball, set another on-ball screen.
Do it. And you see him doing it the past 2 games.
Which is not a bad play set. You know, it's not bad. Again, it's just sometimes with these guys, besides Bertans, I do not see anyone moving with urgency on the offensive end. When you notice Bertans moving around, you can tell he's humping it, man. Like, he's coming around picks, he's cutting hard, and a lot of guys are just walking through the motions when it comes to setting the pick and roll and whatnot.
5 deflections.
So again, this is okay. And I know I've said a lot, and we haven't even gotten through one play yet. One thing I think I'm being right on about Wood. Wood is not a put the ball on the floor kind of guy. He either needs to pick and pop, and he's either got that shot, or perhaps he can pump fake and take a step in or two and shoot, or he needs to get the ball on the block, extended post, elbow or something. Wood is not a good put the ball on the floor, take 2, 3, 4 dribbles and work your man. He's just not. While he's long and lengthy and he can cover a lot of ground, he's not very quick. He's not going to really get a defender shaken or get him off of him, if that makes sense. It's very easy to kind of predict where he's going to go and what he's doing and get in his way when it comes to him putting the ball on the floor. I said this in another video, and if anybody wants to call me out for it, I'll have to find it. But essentially I've said, like, I think you need to get Wood the ball in certain spots. I don't think he is a good creator for his own shot, if that makes sense. He needs to get the ball in a certain position, and he needs to go with it. And so getting him the ball here, I like. Very much a fan of.
Alone last game when he was called out.
Corner 3.
2 things. Pro like Gary, and you see him doing it the past 2 games. 5 deflections alone.
This is Maxey, not Bertans. I apologize. I said Bertans a second ago, but the point I was making with Bertans stands true. When he comes off picks and he cuts, he's humping it, man. Like, he's going 100%. And sometimes I get the feeling, even with like this down screen here and stuff, Green kind of comes around the pick, and as athletic as Green is, he needs to be ripping off that pick. He needs to be coming around full speed. I don't think there's many guys in the league who are going to keep up with him, and he needs to see what's there.
Last game when he was.
I kind of wish Maxey would have shot that instead of Green.
Called out.
Corner 3. 20.
Still love the fact being engaged.
Spencer bringing it up. Of course.
Offensively, Gary Trent Jr. is going to get his.
And I'm going to be proven right on this again. Spencer needs to shoot it and go, or needs to pass. He's not a very good set your guy up like Luka does, where he's trying to feel you out and he's trying to make a move, or he's going to try and do a little stutter step or a little spin move or something like that. He needs to be straight to the hole and being physical and aggressive. For a guy his size, he's great at that. He's probably one of the best in the league, pound for pound, going straight to the hole that I've seen, especially considering he's not our main offensive weapon. Dinwiddie going to the hole, just straight to the hole. Nothing in between, nothing fancy. Dinwiddie gets in trouble a lot when he tries to do a spin move or a little stutter step or some kind of fake or hesitation. That's not really his offensive game. And maybe that's something I probably should have elaborated more in other games or in other videos when I say Dinwiddie needs to get it and go. I should have been a little more clear that I don't like when Dinwiddie starts going to the hole and then makes a move, a secondary move. It either needs to be straight to the basket, you're trying to beat your man with your speed and quickness, or you can shoot the three. I was not a big believer that Dinwiddie was necessarily a good shooter. I thought he was more of a streaky shooter, but he's been very consistent this year, and I've been a little wrong. I guess my presumptions of him coming in last year was that he was a bit more of a streaky scorer. He's been very consistent from the three-point line, and I'm okay giving him the green light to shoot threes.
but you can't allow a
So he needs to be shoot a three or go to the hole, straight to the hole, nothing in between.
straight line drive to the rack. Either you got to take a foul or you got to punch it against the.
Downton, Whitty. Quick first step, gets to the bucket.
And I love that was game.
Now, and just because they mentioned first step there real quick, that's a good way. One thing I will say I had, even though I was not very athletic, I had a good first step. A good first step goes a long way, especially for a guy. That's why I was going to get with Dinwiddie, and he has an amazing first step. He's very quick, very explosive. And so that's what I'm talking about. Like, he needs to go.
He plays defense on the ball.
So again, we're doing the exact same play that we did over here for Green just a second ago, right? And in the last video I mentioned that Dinwiddie, we did this exact same play against the Rockets or the Clippers or something like that. I can't remember exactly who it was. And the thing is, Dinwiddie going to his right, coming off some of these picks, can make that pass with his right hand across the court to someone like Green, if need to be, or whoever he is in this opposite corner. If Dinwiddie's going to come around this way, just some food for thought. And so, again, playing to your strengths. I don't think we should be doing it the other way around. If Dinwiddie's ever going to use a pick and come off with his left hand, it's just not his dominant hand, and to make a cross-court pass is much harder. These are just little things that I think Kid doesn't think about.
Defense underrated in that aspect.
So, again, we set the double pick.
I love that one.
We set the double pick. Hardaway Jr. came around, wasn't there. And so he's going to essentially give the ball to Wood here. Pass pick away by Dinwiddie.
As well.
It's kind of a little three-man weave, but a pass pick away. Hardaway comes back around.
9:25 on the.
Hardaway's been so bad. Again, when you're struggling, watch him shoot this and he kind of floats a little bit.
9:25.
When you're struggling, I don't want that shot. I want you to get a good, clean, up and down shot. You know, you come down in the spot that you jumped up from, right? That's what I mean by up and down shot. When you're struggling, like a shot like that, that's a heat check shot. That's like you've been feeling it. You made your last 3 shots, and you're coming around the pick, and it doesn't matter where you get the ball. You're shooting the thing, you're snapping the wrist, and you can float a little bit because you just got it. You just got it going on. You're feeling it. For someone who is struggling like Hardaway, I mean, that I don't like this shot. This is, again, shot selection is my biggest pet peeve when it comes to basketball. As a coach, if I'm watching my team, shot selection, I can talk about it all day, every day, 365 days a year. Shot selection is everything as a coach in terms of basketball. And then, of course, on the smaller details, you know, guys not setting picks right is also another pet peeve of mine. But the biggest pet peeve is easily shot selection. This is not a good shot here. We got 10 seconds to go. You're struggling. You're coming around. You're shooting sort of a leaning three-pointer. As someone who is struggling like Hardaway is, I was saying how I can talk about shot selection all day. As a coach, my number one thing is shot selection. That's the one thing that I think I probably focus on the most. And when you're watching a team, is shot selection. I can talk about shot selection all day, 24/7, 365. For someone who's struggling like Hardaway coming off that pick and he's kind of leaning, shooting that three, I don't like that shot selection for you. I want a straight up and down shot. I want you to get set. I want you to jump up and land in the same spot you shot from when you're struggling, right? If Hardaway is on a heat check, he's shooting 50% for the night, he's hit a couple nice shots and he's feeling it, okay, we can have a different conversation about you coming off that pick and you're feeling good and you want to let the thing fly. That's a different story than someone who's struggling like Hardaway. I don't like this shot. This is not a good shot for Hardaway. And what I was saying, I think before my mic cut out, is I would like to see us get Wood the ball right here. Going back to what I said about Wood a second ago is I don't think he's a good put the ball on the floor and create a shot kind of guy. Mainly more specifically is he does that sometimes from the three-point line on these pick and pops, or he gets the ball on a kick out on a three and he hesitates. He doesn't take the shot right away, and then he tries to kind of break his man down like Luka. That's not his game. He should have like a 3 dribble max rule is what we should have for Wood if we were going to, be back in high school, junior high, and you could tell NBA players what to do. But I don't like when Wood gets the ball out on the perimeter here on the 3-point shot, and he's trying to break his man down, and he's trying to like create a shot for himself, and he's trying to get all the way to the hole from the 3-point line. I don't think that's his game. I don't like that. And so if we can get Wood the ball right here, again, right here, pump fake, shoot, 1 or 2 dribbles, right? I'm okay with Wood taking a few dribbles. And he's okay at that little spin move, little baby hook he shoots a lot, a little kind of leaner in the lane, a little kind of floater. I like that with Wood. I'm okay with that. And so if we can get him the ball right here, especially with this guard on him, the mismatch, again, we're not taking advantage of the mismatch. Instead, Hardaway's trying to shoot this leaning 3-point shot as, when he's been struggling and getting it over this forward here. That's just not a good shot. And so I'd like to get Wood the ball right here and let him go to work on this little man and see if he can't get a little, 12-foot pull-up or something. I mean, shot selection to me is everything as a coach. When I'm running an offense, or I'm trying to evaluate my team on the offensive end, shot selection is everything. When are we shooting it in the shot clock? What are we looking for? Did we shoot a shot because we were in a rush, or did we shoot a shot because we were open? Crispness of the ball movement. Are we setting picks right? Are we getting ourselves open? Shot selection is paramount, especially over the course of a game, right? I kind of also have a saying, that I kind of tell myself is he who shoots the most layups wins. Now, I know in today's game that's changed a whole lot, but again, it's sort of the inside-out theory, and it's more or less saying we want to get easier, closer shots that are good looks, higher percentage shots. And again, I understand the long 2 versus the 3, shoot the 3. I understand that. But again, like mid-range and in is where I would like a vast majority of our shots to come from. And I think the Mavs lead the league in corner threes, and I'm not sure about threes overall, but they're up there on 3-point attempts per game. I don't like that. Same thing with Luka. I want Luka's shot attempts from threes to be 6 or below. We get over that. I think he either needs to be on fire, which, again, I know Luka has the green light to do whatever he wants. But if he shoots more than 6 threes, he either needs to be on fire, or those 3-point attempts need to come from somewhere else closer in, and he needs to get things going that way. Also, by getting closer looks, you force the defense to collapse, right? And it's the whole inside-out thing. If you are making them pay from inside and you're getting easier looks, they have to adjust to that. They have to. They absolutely have to. Whereas even if you're making threes, sometimes the defense will just say, we'll just let you keep shooting threes in a way, rather than letting you drive and just get layups, right? Live by the 3, die by the 3. You can't stay on fire forever from the 3-point line as long as you're playing some kind of defense on you. So this shot selection, horrible shot selection. I hate it.
5 on the clock here in the second quarter. Kai with it.
And he missed it horribly, so proves my point.
Under by Christian Wood. Turns, fires, 3 short. Shooting the 3. Struggled shooting the ball to Gary Trent Jr. And since that game in Dallas, he has struggled shooting the 3. 17%.
See, Wood getting the ball right here, I'm okay with that.
For Gary Trent Jr. Hardaway Jr. He'll kick it. They swing it. Here's Green on the inside.
That's good. Green almost has the same rules as Dinwiddie in a way. Green with his athleticism, it kind of needs to be shoot a 3 or go to the hole and explode. Him and Dinwiddie kind of need to have the same rules. I don't want anything fancy in the lane. Keep it vanilla. I don't want any spin moves, hesitations, or anything like that. Straight to the basket or a 3. That kind of needs to be his rule as well. And they're both very hard to stop if they've got a head of steam going.
This lineup dive. You got
it up. A lot of pounding the ball, and then for 22, and that was a late move. A lot of pounding the ball, and then the dribble drive.
And that's what happens, right?
I'm okay with that. Same with Dinwiddie. Wood has been very good from 3 this year, so that's okay. He was wide open, had a chance to set his shot. He got it comfortably. Second quarter, early third of the way through the second quarter. That's an okay shot.
A lot of pounding.
And again, the Mavericks are not a very good transition team. So
In the ball.
sometimes a transition isn't necessarily about trying to go coast to coast and get to the hole, but in the confusion of a transition defense, you're also maybe trying to look for a nice wide open look.
And then
and so here, this guy doesn't know he's done wrong here. He should be hedging over here because obviously these two guys are picked up, and so therefore Wood has a wide open look. You know, like he's already in his shot, and no one's even going to get close to contesting that.
And that's what happens, right?
So as much as I complain about shot selection, and I'd like to work the clock, you know, and get a better shot. Sometimes, you know, the whole point of getting out in transition, though, is either getting a layup or dunk. That is goal one in transition, in my opinion. Or you are looking for a nice, and it almost has to be wide open is the caveat. When I say open, I mean open, right? Not a guy flying at you, not you trying to rush a shot before a guy can get to you. A nice wide open look. That looks about as wide open as it gets, and Wood's one of the few guys on this team who's been hitting threes. I'm okay with that shot.
Wood, they got a lot of 76ers when I
Young on the take.
got a chance to see Christian Wood playing for the 76ers when I worked with them. And he's matured.
See, this is a great example of what I just said a second ago about transition. In terms of getting a wide open look in transition, I don't like that shot, right? You got a guy coming at you. Green's been okay from three, so I'm okay with Green shooting a three if he's open.
Got a chance to see Christian Wood playing.
But again, think about how wide open Wood was, and he shot it right here, not in the corner.
76ers when I worked with
I just don't really like this shot selection right here.
them.
Again, he's open. I understand that. But he's nowhere near as open as Wood was that last possession. And I feel like we can get a better shot than that. Or we can get that shot anytime is also something about three-pointers, why I say he who gets most layups wins. You know, we can get this shot anytime.
And he's matured. It became a heck of a year.
Bodies flying, colliding. Raptors down to one.
There you go. I was gonna say if we can't get a bucket 5-on-3, 4-on-3 here, we got another Mav coming.
Raptors down to one.
So we even have a trail 3 coming, and we have 4-on-3 already. If you can't get a layup or an easy shot on that, then we're in big trouble.
Ineffective pace.
Seems like that should have been a foul, but whatever.
You have to.
Is right.
You put straight past Pascal's injury. This shows there's a mini.
Down from Hamilton. Different numbers at 1 tied at 35. You saw all those different.
So we're gonna do the same play again. I said this about Kidd, how even when he does change it up from the on-ball pick and roll, which again I know Luka's not in, right? So that's probably why they're not doing it as much. Even when it comes to Kidd's quote-unquote creativity, when it's not an on-ball pick and roll, I'm still not very impressed. It's essentially just basic kind of pick and rolls like this, or he sets a double pick and roll on the ball, or again, we've run this play now 3 times this quarter. I'm not impressed with Kidd's. Because I can feel it over there on Kidd's end and his offensive staff. They're probably like, we got to get some other plays drawn up. And what I've seen them come up with, what was it, the last film room we did, when they ran a certain play out of the third or fourth quarter, I can't remember what it was, like the first play. I like that play. I don't know why we don't do it more often. It was almost like a little bit of a it was like a 3-man pick and move and back cut over here on the off corner from the ball. And it was very good. It presented you with a lot of looks, a lot of wrinkles, a lot of things you could do if the defense, depending on what the defense does. And, you know, why we go back to this just kind of boring, non-creative, sort of not really doing anything offense. Excuse me. You know, this is another red flag to me that this is the best we can come up with, and it's just there's just not a whole lot to it.
Different numbers.
There's no thought process behind it from what I can kind of tell.
The one number we mentioned early on, fast break points. Raptors knocks it down from Hamilton. Different numbers. The one number we mentioned.
Again, what have I said? The last film room we did, I was really hard on them on how they ran picks, on how they set picks, how they came off of picks, their timing of the picks. Again,
tied at 35. You saw all those different numbers. And one
Green does better coming off Wood's pick here. Well, again, see how he does not go shoulder to shoulder, butt to butt, hip to hip off of Wood. So he lets this guy get in between. It's going to force Green to have to flare out a little bit. And also, depending on what they're trying to do here, I would have had McGee line up maybe a little more behind Wood. It presents a sort of more of a flat wall that Green has to come off of rather than trying to come off that first pick and curve. But again, Green needs to come off this pick.
Tied at 35. You saw all those different numbers.
And again, Green does not wait for Wood to get settled. This is like high school, junior high basic shit. He needs to wait one more second, literally one more second, maybe two, to let Wood get up on his guy. And then he goes. I just don't understand why we can't set picks right. And I know it's one of those things where, like, I'm coming off like the annoyed old school guy who, isn't hip to how we play basketball these days. But this is my second biggest pet peeve, is not setting picks right. And usually it's on the guy getting the pick set for him. Just cannot wait. He is just in such a hurry to go get the ball or get the play started, and he cannot just simply wait for 1 or 2 more seconds to let Wood get settled. Wood doesn't get settled, right? So here comes Green. It allows him to jump the pick. Because he doesn't wait, he already sees Green coming, right? Green moving. He is able to get up on Green immediately before Wood can get set, and allows him to create this space in between them. Because of that, Green, look how wide Green is flaring. Green should be coming off McGee's butt and hip again. And look how wide he is coming around. Do you understand? This is now I mean, what is the point of setting a pick? This is just as good as flashing up by yourself. You may as well just flash Green up by himself without setting the double pick. This is just horrible spacing and offensive details right here.
Early on.
And so, again, the defender has read the play perfectly. He could have cut underneath, or he could have gone around. Because Green flared so much and he sees this pick coming from Dinwiddie, he's able to perfectly time it. Again, he has been able to stay on Green's hip, and while you would say, oh, well, he's behind Green, so it worked, he chose to go behind Green.
Knocks it down from Hamilton. Different numbers. And one number we made.
If he wanted to, he could have cut right here. He could have came right in here. You see him, look, he's reading it the whole time. He's I know it may seem like, well, that's not, like, these guys are NBA athletes. They're quick and they can react and or anticipate with the best of them. He right now is reading this whole play. Again, he's not having to think. He's literally playing off of defensive instincts, which is not good if you're running an offense, and all the defense has to do is just react or anticipate based on the most easiest of cues to pick up on. So he's waiting. He's just buying his time. Boom. It's just maybe could have been a better pass from Dinwiddie, but again, because this defender's here and you got this guy waiting, you can't really throw it in front of Green either. That's, Van Fleet's going to get a hand up in this lane. This guy could jump a pass that's more in front of Green. It's just bad offensive spacing on the picks.
On fast break points, Raptors -10 without him. And he'll head to the
open 3
with 3. Most productive.
A lot of people were scrapping. What was with handling the chair? They complimented Luka's rarely.
Again, doubling Luka full court. This is how bad it is for the Mavs offense right now, man. Look at this. They are picking up Luka 94 feet. double teaming hard. I haven't quite seen it this hard yet. Usually they kind of shade him, or they have two guys around him waiting to double team on the half court, and they just kind of want to make him, cover him instead of him just being able to dribble a straight line up the half court and the back court. He kind of has to go back and forth and work a little bit and think, etc., and throw his timing off, make him expend just a little more energy.
Really well handling the basketball, making shots.
Here's Wood up top.
They complimented Luka's really well.
So, again, I've talked about how breaking this double team in the half court's a lot like breaking a full court press. Wood, maybe this is Wood full speed. I'm not sure. Wood should have caught this and realized you have a 4-on-3 now going the other way. You need to be hoofing it, man. It looks like he's kind of going 80-90%, and this defender's recovering 100%. He's running back as hard as he can. Wood needs to be 100% going to the hole, trying to take advantage of this 4-on-3.
Handling the basketball.
It looks like he's going like 80-90%.
Ball making shots. Here's they complimented Luka's really well handling the basketball, making shots.
Here's Wood up top.
They complimented
Why was that such
Luka's
a bad
really
pass?
well handling the basketball, making shots.
Here's Wood up top.
They compliment.
Here's Wood.
I'm not sure. That should have been an easy alley-oop. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Maybe just chemistry hasn't built up yet or something. Again, Wood probably doesn't throw a lot of alley-oops per se. Sorry. I don't know why that should have been an easy alley-oop. I'm not sure.
Well,
I'm a little perplexed.
Handling the basketball, making shots.
Here's Wood up top.
Yeah, that's just a bad pass by Wood. I mean, Wood doesn't play point guard obviously a whole lot. He's probably not throwing a whole lot of alley-oops to guys, but that was just a bad pass by Wood. He should have put that a little higher so McGee just has to go get it and just bring it down.
He runs it, grab flat.
Are going on, and it's from there's more.
But again, my biggest problem with that is that Wood is not attacking the advantage we have. You get an advantage, much like a mismatch or something on the pick and roll. You have to attack it. If you never attack a mismatch or an advantage that you have, what is the defense having to do? Nothing.
More opportunity. In your offense, the NBA, they're getting the chart
too.
That glass and making the Dallas Mavericks pay for it.
I guess we missed the inbounds here. Hardaway is just going to give it to Luka.
Raptors without Otto Porter. You see him next to.
I believe that's the Raptors, one of the Raptors' big man or centers, I suppose, along with this guy. So, again, I'm okay with Finney-Smith. Usually Finney-Smith probably has a guard on him, maybe sometimes. I know he plays like small forward, but again, I don't want to bring another guard to this pick and roll. I like that we're doing it in the middle of the floor, which is good. And he's bringing a bigger man. He needs to be bringing the 4 or 5. Usually in the NBA, I want to bring the 5 because the 4 these days is usually, a glorified small forward. Usually someone who's pretty athletic and quick and can recover. So I usually want to bring the 5. If this guy's the 5, I'd much rather McGee bring him, or we set a pick to get this guy on Finney-Smith or something, and then Finney-Smith or someone else can bring the 5 out. I guess bringing the 4 is okay.
Shea.
Okay, so far good. Remember what I said? I want the pass to come right here in the middle of the floor. That's where I want the ball to be dumped, and that's essentially what we've done so far. So now, if you look, this is largely a 4-on-3. For a split second, you're gonna have an open man somewhere.
Barnes.
I think the pass should have been a Hardaway here. I know Green's been good lately, but again, Hardaway a set shot open 3. I know he's been struggling, so don't at me. But Hardaway a set shot open 3, I will live with. I think he hits that shot, as he normally should, in terms of his shooting. Green in the corner, a set shot. I know he's been good lately, but I'll just say that they're even. You know, again, I don't like Hardaway having to create a shot, but if he's just got an open jumper, I'm okay with that. Even I know he's been struggling. But I thought he was much more wide open.
Boucher.
This is exactly how we should be breaking this double every time. This is the pass here because look, or he maybe should have ooped McGee here. But this is still a much better offensive attack of the advantage and breaking that double team off Luka. This is much better than what I've seen so far usually. Again, you throw it to McGee here. This guy to Green here. This guy just has to release, so I don't like that pass. It should have been to Hardaway here. McGee maybe might have had an alley-oop there. You know, if you look away 24 here and you throw him a little lob. But again, the pass was here to Hardaway. All he had to do was release off McGee and chase him off the three. We've talked about how defenses are doing that to us. Nice shot. That was a nice shot. Again, Green's athletic. He can make those shots. As much as that might have seemed like a crazy shot, Green is athletic. And also knowing Green, he wouldn't have shot that shot unless he thought he could make it. And for someone who's probably a little more conservative with this shot selection and getting the shots up, for someone like Green, he knows he can make that shot. So that's okay. And again, this just goes to show, though, how getting to the middle of the floor, breaking that double team, and even though Finney didn't make the pass that I would want him to make, he still attacked it. He still had to fling it out to the guy who was open enough to where someone had to run at him, and someone like Green is athletic enough to make them pay. And so again, Van Fleet here. Now that this guy's beat, we almost have in a weird way another 4-on-3 here. Once this guy, you have to understand, every time you beat a man off the dribble this bad, someone is open. Whether that's a kickback out to Finney Smith or something or other, he's going to have to drive here. Someone's going to have to pick him up. That's still a crazy shot, but again, Green is so athletic.
Boucher, Barnes, Achua.
He's able to get up and for I could never do this obviously, but for guys who are athletic enough to get up with some hops, he essentially is using the rim here to protect himself. And again, McGee's here, so all he has to do is kind of get around the shoulder of 24 and McGee, and he knows that other side of the rim's going to be open. Still a great shot though. That's definitely a high level of difficulty, but again, for someone like Green, that's buckets for him.
Through. You talking about go up
on Gomez, batted out. Oh, back.
You love it. I love hearing you say that.
Van Vliet 2 of 4 from 3. He's got 14. And DeVal McGee. How about Ken Birch? Got 14. Van Vliet 2 of 4 from 3. He's got 14.
Bit of an acting job. This is kind of one of those things that frustrates me because it seems like when we are aggressive, we do not get calls like this. And yet, like when Luka's aggressive, he just doesn't get calls like this. But yet, when the other team is aggressive at us, it sometimes feels like when we body them up or something, we're constantly getting called for that. So, I guess on this one, I'm not necessarily opposed to what McGee did here.
Van Vliet 2 of 4 from 3. He's got 14.
Again, the guy was able to get in front of McGee, but McGee saw it. He was going to spin. We got two guys out here. Green's probably going to come up, right? So let's say even that guy stayed on his feet and stayed in front of McGee. I'm sure he would have kicked it out or tried to shoot a little 5-footer over him. Again, McGee shooting a little baby hook right here. Again, shot selection. I can live with that.
And DeVal McGee.
The winning to the rack, taking it to his chest, 7 time. As you just see him getting down, JaVale McGee going to the rack.
Yeah, that guy, he's definitely moving. And I wouldn't say McGee was overly aggressive either. Sometimes they'll call you for a charge if they just feel like you're being overly aggressive, even if the guy didn't have perfect position and wasn't set. But that guy was clearly moving. McGee gets barely some contact, feels him, and spins. That's just a bad call, in my opinion.
Taking it to his chest, sacrifice.
And again, he made an okay spin move. You know, McGee, depending on how that play would have played out had he not been called, probably gets to the free throw line at least.
Facing his body off the ball.
In a defense. Ease of the night. Turnover, that's the 8. The other way. There's Green. Flips it up. No. That's the 8.
This is it.
These are the nights.
You lead your own campaign with something like that.
Good hands by Finney Smith.
Fleet. Turnover, that's the 8. And Fleet. Turnover, that's the
Good transition defense by them, from what I can see.
8. The other way. There's Green. Flips it up.
I almost feel like he might have been trying to throw an alley to McGee there, just didn't get it off.
Over, that's the 8.
In my opinion, Green should have immediately caught this and given a quick pass to McGee here. This guy's head is turned. As soon as he catches this, I think he should have given it to McGee immediately. Like right here, the ball should be going to McGee. And by the way, it goes to McGee. Finney Smith still has his man beat, right? I mean, Finney Smith, it could have been a boom, boom, and then back to Finney for a layup. Again, that's just sort of like a, you know, that's kind of a hard thing to predict in real time and do. But again, ball movement should have maybe been a little better. And the Mavs don't find themselves in the transition game enough to kind of know what each other is thinking like that.
The other way.
I almost feel like he was trying to throw an oop to McGee here.
These are turnover, that's the 8.
Does it get tipped?
The other way. There's Green, flips it up. No, on the line, Scary. Doncic, and the 3 not there yet. He's 0 for 3. Doncic. And finds Hardaway Jr. Doncic.
Again, I've said before, like, we're one of the worst transition teams, but if we can get out and run, this just takes pressure off of Luka, and we get a dunk out of it. Because, again, Luka coming down the floor is one of the most – a defense has to respect him almost more than anybody.
And finds Hardaway Jr.
Again, Hardaway, you know, shooters, you know, just getting the ball in the hole can build something for our shooters right now who are struggling so bad.
And they split advantage.
Birch. And tied up.
You double on 3, Birch.
And it Raptors lead by 3.
We need a floaty for it. It was so deep.
You know, the logo mentioned to Savannah, not 100% yet.
And I'm shocked to watch how deep he can shoot the basketball.
There's Finney Smith. It does
How deep he
mentioned to warm-ups. He was at half court making them, and as he mentioned, Savannah, not 100% yet.
This is a weird defense here. Almost like they're running a box and one on Luka.
And I'm shocked.
Why Van Fleet's out here with McGee. It almost looks like these guys are matching up zone a little bit. I almost think they're running a box and one here on Luka.
Watch how deep he can shoot the basketball.
You know, I don't know. I guess just for my taste, right, I would have liked to have a swing here to Bullock. I know Bullock's been struggling, but again, a straightaway 3 in which I think he would have been open. And or I would have liked to seen, I think sometimes the guys other than Luka, mainly Bullock, Maxey, Finney Smith, etc., you know, they just don't put the ball on the floor enough for my taste. I wish they would do that a little more, mainly looking for the pass, but also a little 15-foot pull-up or something. I know the mid-range is maybe not their strengths. Maybe Maxey a little more. I think he could hit a mid-range just fine. But I would like, again, I would like to see Finney Smith with Van Fleet flying at him, pump faking, put it on the floor, and let's see if we can't get McGee for an easy oop, right? If this guy, if you pump fake Van Fleet here and you drive, 24 is probably going to be stuck in no man's land, and you can either get a little runner, a little, 15-footer, or if he comes and picks you up, McGee's probably open for an alley-oop here or something. But the option to Bullock is probably still there for the kick out because this guy is going to be worried about McGee or you once you start driving. So I don't again, shot selection, I don't really like this shot considering this, if we have an open three, the straightaway three I think is the better option. But, that's just, taking a quick shot to 12 seconds in the shot with left to go. I would have liked to seen Finney Smith put it on the floor here and see what we can get.
Here's Finney Smith. It doesn't.
And Luka with the box and one. So the box and one, my preferred way of. Sorry, it's late night. My preferred way of beating a box and one is to get Luka off the ball, get him moving around, and running almost like a baseline runner, some kind of I want to get him behind that four-man zone. If they're running a box and one, I'm not sure if they truly were, but it looked like it. I want to get the man that they're focused on behind the zone, running baseline. I want him behind the defense, right? If you're running a box and one, it means you are heavily focusing on a certain guy, right? There's one guy essentially you're trying to stop that you think is going to lead to good defensive possessions for you. I want him to get behind the defense. That's my thinking. I want him to get behind the defense. I want them to have to suck down a little bit because, again, if you're playing a zone and everyone's paying attention to him, it gets the one guy who's guarding Luka on the baseline. So, again, no leak outs. It's harder for transitions. If you shoot a three, it's easier to take him out of the rebounding, in my opinion. And I would like to get Luka somewhere running on the baseline, maybe popping open to a maybe getting here again, almost wherever, no matter where he gets it, unless he gets it in the corner, he probably will be doubled unless he gets it somewhere far out on the wing. But I almost want to, again, I want to entice that double team and someone should be rolling to the basket. And you got someone like McGee who's perfect for that. I would like to get Luka on the baseline, maybe post it up, extended block, see if I can't suck the man who's on him, as well as this other zone guy to also suck out on Luka or pay attention to him, and hopefully open up the lane a little bit or an open three and see what we can create with that. Again, one of the things they also always say is, the reason why you don't want someone to go baseline is because then everyone has to turn, everyone has to fall back, and you as a defense, you're now having to guard 360 instead of 180, if that kind of makes sense. And so on a box and one, I want to get Luka going down here, bring that man with him, and I want him somewhere along the baseline running and or getting a little post up here somewhere, maybe even the elbow, to see if I can't draw that double team out and someone, again, this is what Carlisle was so good at with Dirk, and get someone else doing something off the ball, flashing to an open area and playing off of that box and one. That's how I would attack a box and one.
Go Hernan Gomez. He had his.
Again, Luka dribbled straight at it. That's not really the best way to go about it. And kicking out to Finney Smith, he didn't really have an open look from where Luka threw it on one block to the opposite three on the wing. That, someone even like Van Fleet can get out and close, or can get out and make you run off the 3-point line. So I don't really like that execution there.
Season best 10 rebounds last game. Fred denied. They're going to
check out the look. I love when Fred.
Did he get it?
Left hand, get up there on the glass. It was close, but just being didn't settle. Shot the three.
Line. Brent Barnaky.
OG picking up 94 feet.
See?
I thought he was going to turn it a couple times.
All right, so they're running a box and one. I'm almost convinced of it now. This is absolute proof they're running a box and one. And for anyone who doesn't know what a box and one is, essentially you got two guys here, free throw line, elbow, extended wing area, two guys on the post, extended wing area, and they're kind of moving around. They're trying to just cover spaces, really. And they got one guy full-time on Luka, or the best player, right, whoever that would be. Usually it has to be a guard. It'd be hard to run a box and one on someone like Joel Embiid, right, in the post. That would just be like a normal double team almost. But a box and one out on a guard, you're essentially hounding him 94 feet, like they said, or at least picking him up half court. and your job is to just be in his pocket the whole time, and everyone else is going to try and help you and shade and cover spots. These guys are just trying to do the best job they can to hold down the fort while you give this guy trouble. And they probably have some traps or some other things built into this box and one, where if Luka comes, if Luka's going to take you off the dribble and come here, Van Fleet's probably going to step over. This guy's going to shade, stuff like that. If he gets down in the corner or something, these guys are probably have some responsibilities on Luka where they're going to try and double team or shade him, or again, get the ball out of Luka's hands or make him do something with it is what they want to do. So this is an interesting look. You don't really see this a whole lot in the NBA anymore, kind of these zones, matchup zones, box and ones kind of thing. So this is kind of an interesting look. Again, as a coach, right, if I'm running a box and one, it's because we're at a huge disadvantage. There's someone out there that we just cannot guard. He is just too crafty, too good, too quick, something like that, and we cannot guard him. Usually a guard, a point guard, shooting guard, something like that, a good ball handler, that we cannot put someone one-on-one. We cannot run the pick. We cannot let them set pick and rolls. He's just killing us. Again, this is a sign of defeat. Kids should immediately be going box and one. This is what we're running, so again, let's see what he's doing here. He's kind of overloading, which again, I would like to get more players on the baseline, even your off-ball guys. I'd like to get them on the baseline. And again, it'll do a few things with Luka with the ball up here. Now, when Luka, you can do that as well as having Luka run the baseline. But again, if you have, let's say you have Maxey here, we put McGee on the post. We're gonna put Bullock in this corner, and we're gonna have Finney-Smith. Let's say we have Finney-Smith come and set a pick, right? These three guys right here are going to have to pay attention to this pick and roll. We now have three guys on the baseline with a huge advantage. And if we can get that, if we get the ball to one of them, essentially they're kind of playing what I guess you'd call like a straightaway 3-on-2. So if we got McGee on the block, Maxey and Bullock on the corner, right? Let's say he gets swung to Bullock, okay, whether it's an open three or not, this guy's going to have to come get to Bullock. Bullock should put it on the floor, pump fake or something. And essentially now we're, Maxey and McGee are here on the backside waiting for some kind of pass from Bullock. And one of those guys should be wide open, right? So let's see what the Mavericks do here. Again, yes, usually I've said I want McGee to come and set the pick or whoever the 5 is guarding. The 5 is not guarding McGee anymore, so that's out the window. I want the big man down here. He's got so much space and so much advantage. McGee should be hanging out down here to make them pay. That's what he needs. He needs to be somewhere in this paint area, the block area. McGee right now should be our main target, to be honest with you. He's the guy we're trying to get the ball to. So him coming out here and setting a pick is just, this is just the absolute, in my opinion, the wrong way to go about breaking a box and one. Bringing your big man out here, again, these 4 guys are having to hold down the fort, as I say. They are at a disadvantage. They are trying to hustle it up. They are trying to, when the ball gets moved around, they have so much area to cover now as 4 guys, right? Trying to cover a whole half court. Having McGee come out here and set a pick almost does nothing. It literally almost does nothing.
How important is that?
Oh, man, I thought he was going to turn him a couple times.
So again, the reason why this guy is so far over, this is why having McGee come out is a bad idea.
94 feet. Oh, man, I thought he was going to turn him a couple times.
Okay, this guy just looked around, right? He said, here's Bullock. Well, there's my one defender on Bullock. The Mavs are overloading this side. So again, he's smart enough to know, okay, there's the one-on-one here, right? That's this man's responsibility here. This guy would be playing if they were just traditionally set, right? He would be playing somewhere in here, the elbow or the wing area, sort of, depending on how far or how compact you want to be as a defense. He would just traditionally be somewhere in this area. He looks around. He says, look, there's one defender, one man. He has now total free reign, but he has a lot of flexibility to come over and help. Again, this is why again, if McGee was down here, he would not be able to do that because his responsibility would be for Bullock. That he would have to stay home here. You bring McGee out here, now you understand, like, this is why you have to get something on the baseline going to make that defense collapse and suck in and have to play 360 degrees and have to respect everything. And usually when you do that, that's when you find a roller coming to the basket for a dunk or a layup or something. And so he looks here, he says, look, this is the matchup here. I'm going to shade and go help all of this area over here. Having McGee come set this pick is dumb. This is what I'm talking about, where I don't want to sit here and say I can coach offense better than Jason Kidd, but I'm going to sit here and say I can coach offense better than Jason Kidd. This is the absolute wrong way to go about doing this. Now, maybe we'll see what happens, but right now I don't like the start of it.
How important is that? Turning him 2 times. Hubie Brown used to always talk about turning a player 2 times.
Good. All right. That's all right. That's
Hubie
better.
Brown used to always talk about.
Again, what did I say? Like, if McGee's going to come here, right, and this kind of ends up having the same result in a weird way, that, again, I like that Luka did look over here to Bullock, and we decided we want to get the ball here. Kid's been watching my fucking videos. So, again, while I don't like the way we attack this, we get the ball here. Now, again, this guy still played this decently. I think he's saying he's going to leave Bullock. He doesn't. He's going to come here to McGee, and he's probably going to go help. I'm not sure if 33 should have doubled that hard. Maybe that's their plan. I don't know. But running a box and one and then having your off guy come all the way over here and doubling is not exactly usually how you would do that. But again, maybe they're just saying, again, the whole thing is to double Luka, right?
Him 2 times.
And so this is, like I said, if they're going to double this far out, usually this is open, and it is. And while I don't like the way we came about that, I didn't fully expect this guy to double so hard. I kind of thought he was going to shade, Van Fleet would step up, and he'd kind of come back here a little bit or fall back with the roller.
Too efficient.
Oh, man, I thought he was going to turn him a couple times.
So this is definite box and one.
How important is that?
See, I think he came out a little too hard. Maybe that's what they're trying to do. I just think if you're a defense, that's not very smart. I don't think that's really the proper way of doing this, because again, you're leaving this guy totally exposed. Once you go here and double, and this guy's not here anymore, this guy's now totally exposed, which we just saw. So I don't think that, again, that this is kind of the defense handing us one. I don't know if I'd call this the great offensive execution. I know we got a dunk, but
how important?
I was totally expecting this guy to fall back, to just kind of hedge Luka for a second and then fall back and take this middle spot. This is where if the ball comes over here, 33, this guy usually would be somewhere right here, shading a little more to the middle.
Is that
so? Again, I think maybe he made a call on his own here to go ahead and hard double Luka, but in my opinion, he should have hedged Luka for a second. Right here, see, he jumped too, which is not good. You don't want to leave your feet as a defender. He should have fell back, and this would have been taken away.
2 times.
So again, if they're going to double this hard out, like I've said a million times, this is where you have to attack.
Hubie Brown used to always talk. How important is that? Turning him 2 times. Hubie Brown.
This guy too should have stayed home on McGee front and just stayed here. I think this was a good look away by Luka.
Oh, man, I thought he was going to turn him a couple times.
How important is that? Turning him 2 times.
See, he does bite for this pass here a little bit, which, again, that might have been Luka looking away, or perhaps he just thinks that's his responsibility now that 33 is out. So, again, because I don't think 33 did what the game plan was, that's just my opinion, my 2 cents. He probably right now has no idea what to do. He's in a totally unfamiliar territory, and he probably is thinking, I at least have help to the middle, so I'll make a move towards Bullock. You see, he originally was going to go hard at Bullock, and then he realized the ball went to McGee. So again, that's to our advantage too. And then just a
talk about how important is that, turning him 2 times? Hubie Brown used to always.
Again, I understand we got a dunk out of this, but we're breaking down film here. I don't necessarily like that McGee got it and then just immediately kicked it out, right? I mean, Mavs fans, we know we have not been good at shooting the 3. We need to attack the middle. You get the ball here, and while I understand Finney is going to cut, he gives it up so fast that I think he's just kicking it out for a 3, just to kick it out for a 3 because that's what we always do. I don't necessarily like that he just immediately kicks it out. I think he should have turned. Again, he can maybe fake the pass to Finney, see if this guy bites, which I think he would have, or at least Van Fleet might have bid on it, and perhaps Maxey can now go back door. But again, I want us to attack the rim once we get it here. I know it worked out in the end, but I don't like how quickly it was just an immediate catch and kick out, which again, it worked out, so I can't complain too much, but I don't necessarily like that.
Let's talk about turning the play. Player 2 times, a slam dunk.
We'll take it.
Say that. Season. Now that's great to see. Trent Jr. 31% for 3.
So now this time, right, so this guy is still on Luka, and perhaps because Luka did not bring the ball up, they're deciding to run more of a man-to-man.
Point range this season.
Again, this is another one of Kid's. This is the only other thing Kid can do is either set double picks, set a pick and roll on the ball, or heavily against the Boston game, he was getting Luka the ball here. While I like this is definitely an improvement. I would like Luka to get the ball just a few steps more in. The main reason being that the defense has to collapse in a little more, and I think there's more for Luka to play off of with that. Getting it out here, it's still largely a one-on-one game, and I think as a defense, you'll kind of, again, I'm okay with Luka getting the ball anywhere, right? That's just Luka. But I would like to see him get it, just another step or 2 in.
Raptors lead by 6. This is
also because if they double and help on something like that or collapse, we're talking about even being more wide open, more space for the defense to have to cover, etc.
Their largest lead. They trail by 15. Doncic, and that's a tough bucket. You have Doncic.
And kind of as I was saying, right, why I would like to see him catch it in a little more with his dribble, which is also a key part, so he can turn and see, or he has that option. He can kind of hold it for a second and gather himself and see what the defense is doing. If you notice that as he gets closer, the defense sucks in real hard, and that's kind of why I would like to see him catch it a little closer to begin with, is because then the defense is already one step in on him, and instead of us having Luka have to bang 3-4 times, take 4 or 5 dribbles, again, work harder and harder just to get to that spot where we want to get anyways. We want to get to the point where guys are collapsing in on him, or they're going to double him, right? Once he gets it in this close, let's go ahead and start there, and then let's play off of that instead of wasting time and energy just getting to that point anyways. And Luka's now used his dribble, or has started his dribble, instead of him being able to keep his dribble. And then let's start there anyways is my mindset behind that. So as you notice, as he gets here, like, people have to collapse, right?
By 15.
And again, that's just Luka being Luka one-on-one. He's just very hard.
And then finds.
Just love the way it looks like a running back, right? Finding the holes, going in and out.
Got to hit the A gap.
Very nice.
Going in and out.
Again, I like this. I would like to see the Mavericks be a little more aggressive out in getting into their play set in terms of attacking. I think so. This is a good little change of pace by Kid here. I've seen them do this a little more lately. Is whether it's Luka or someone else, We don't necessarily have to come cross half court, stop, wait for the pick, wait for the play to be set, wait for the 2 picks to be set on the back screen or off ball or what have you. And instead, let's just go ahead and have the pick waiting for us.
Love the way he's maneuvering. Looks like a running back, right? Finding the holes.
Again, McGee's already up. We crossed half court. Let's just go ahead and go into it, right? Let's just go. They're not totally set 100%. Luka can hang out here. That's more than okay. That's one more defender out of the way. It's more space for you as an offense. Again, the more space, the better for you as an offense. The ball can move faster than a defender can. And so this is okay. Again, I don't know if our team has necessarily the skill set over a long enough period of a game to make this work all the time, but every so often it's a good change of pace. It keeps the defense on their toes a little bit, having different guys bring the ball up. Again, I'd like to see us be a little more inside, but that's okay.
It's going in and out.
Got to hit the A gap.
In the holes, going in and out.
I still would like a little bit of a better pick. I know I'm just being picky, but this is good. This is a good change of pace. Gives them a different look. Again, this is not necessarily wildly creative or anything from Kidd, but it's, again, creative. I don't really like the word creative, but just, creating something for your offense. This is just something different to throw at them, right? Think of a pitcher. He's got his fastball. He's got his breaking ball. He's got a curveball. He's got a slider, right? He's trying to hit different locations of the plate based on the hitter or the situation, what have you. It's kind of what your offensive play sets need to be. One time we come down, we get Luka on the extended block a couple times, see what they're doing. Okay, Luka brings it up another time. We see they're running a box and 1. Let's run something at that. Now we're going to have Finney and Dinwiddie or Bullock bring the ball up, and we're just going to go with a really high pick from McGee before they can get set, just to give them a different look, throw something different at them. And it gets you the easiest offensive opportunity, right? I mean, you can't really ask for more than this. And this is just McGee being the biggest man, the most, the most athletic guy on the floor in terms of the bigs. He's just going to go up and get this. And Finney Smith came around that corner. He has, again, this is also what I talk about when you come off a pick. You have to come off it aggressively, or else the defense isn't necessarily having to respect it. At least come off that pick aggressively, make the defense freeze for a second. And as he does that, he's coming down the lane. The defense is like, oh man, Finney Smith's actually coming at me. They're not used to seeing that at all, ever. Oh my God, Finney Smith is actually coming hard off that pick. Van Fleet's beat. Someone's going to have to pick him up. Well, if you want to leave Maxey in the corner, or McGee's rolling, or even Bullock's out here, I mean, this is just such a great, different change of pace. I'll give Kidd a little credit for this. A different change of pace and a different look to just give the defense, and it ends up in an easy alley-oop layup.
Got to hit the A gap.
A gap. I saw.
Go. Raptors lead 49-45. 2:26 left.
Man. So we got, again, I think we bail the defense out here. See, this is also, like, look how far these two guys are. That's a big distance to recover from and to cover in terms of falling back. And while I don't like us dribbling to the corner, this was a little bit of a setup how we got to the corner. This is Luka coming down the court and the double's already coming. That's different than us setting a pick in the corner where Luka a lot of times turns his back and he has to get around the pick, etc.
Raptors lead 49.
See, right here, Luka sees it, right? So this is a little bit of a different setup than what I usually talk about. Again, I don't like getting in the corner right here. This is such a horrible spot to be in as the offensive ball handler.
9:45.
But Luka sees it, of course. This is just an easy pass to Finney Smith.
2:20.
Finney should have gone. Finney should be dribbling, and McGee should be running next to him. And this guy's going to have to come over and help. And Maxey's wide open for a three. Again, I'd rather have Maxey shooting threes than Bullock or Finney Smith right now.
26 left.
Again, shot selection.
49-45. 2:20.
And the thing is, Finney Smith knows McGee is right here, so there's no excuse for not saying I didn't see him. how you as an offensive guy, this is where I just don't think Finney-Smith's a very offensive-minded guy, which is fine. That's not his responsibility. He should be running at this, or he really should be running down the court, but he's attacking this man is what he's doing. Him and McGee need to be coming together down the lane right here. Someone is going to have to help, probably this guy. This guy is probably, well, it depends. This guy might slide over to help Finney, in which case it's a bounce pass to McGee, see if he can't one dribble it or catch it on the run and rise up and go against this guy. If this guy wants to kind of hesitate for a second, this guy says, I got your help, and this guy picks up McGee, this guy rolls over to Finney, well, then we have Maxey wide open in the corner here. And this is just bad shot selection. This is not good awareness by Finney-Smith.
26 left.
In my mind, again, I think what he's thinking is like, Luka broke the double team. I have an open shot. This is the shot I should get. No, I think the play right here is to McGee or to Bullock.
Left.
Another thing to notice, right?
2:26.
I mean, Van Fleet's not going to stop this, right? Van Fleet is not going to challenge McGee.
Left.
This guy, again, he comes out on Finney because he shoots, but I think he probably would have picked up Finney had he taken, again, giving that threat like I'm coming to the goal. Finney never does that, right? So he even gets to kind of contest it slightly, even though that's not the best contest. He still is somewhat in the vicinity. This is the play right here or right here. This guy, look, this guy sees it and he's coming over to get McGee, right? Maxey could have even rolled for a dunk or a layup here if McGee had attacked, made this guy step up. This guy rolls over to McGee. I mean, Maxey probably has a layup or a dunk as well.
Finney-Smith.
So I don't like that right there. Again, you get a double team, you have to make them pay. And when I say pay, we should be talking dunks and layups or floaters, or, you know, get a good shot, a good close range shot.
No. And the shot. Gary got short. Raptors getting good looks, making that extra pass.
And Gary Trent Jr., he just doesn't have his rhythm. I watched how the best.
I don't know.
And
he is wide open.
Gary Trent Jr., he just doesn't have his rhythm. I watched
pass.
And Gary Trent Jr., he just.
This is also something like you should know. This guy right here is in Luka's pocket the whole time. That's essentially what his job is right here. I maybe would have liked to seen a swing over here to Maxey, but again, also attacking this right here would have been nice. Coming around, putting it on the floor.
Just doesn't have his rhythm.
Yeah, I'd like to see our guys pump fake a little more. And understand that every time a guy you pump fake goes by you, we now have an advantage on offense. And again, that wasn't necessarily the most wide open look. Again, Bullock and Finney-Smith have been struggling from three, so I understand the wide open looks and wanting to take them. Try to get something else going for yourself. I think he should have put the ball on the floor here, in my opinion, or he should have kicked it over to Maxey. Look at these guys. I mean, again, two guys here on Luka. A guy just flew past you. You could have pump faked probably. And here we go now with the advantage. And you still have McGee hanging out here. He's going to be coming down the middle of the lane as well, more than likely. I just, just shot selection and awareness and understanding what the defense is doing. I just think that we could have got a better shot than a semi-contested three from Finney-Smith. 16 seconds left on the shot clock.
How the leave his hand.
Doncic. Here's Finney-Smith. McGee. Doncic.
So again, the defense is kind of won here in a way. Luka giving it up. I'd like to at least set a pick here. Again, them getting to play man-on-man and Luka just giving the ball up is a huge win for the defense, right? That's a massive win for the defense. If you were to tell a defensive team or when they're on the defensive side of the ball, hey, you're going to play man-to-man, if you just hound Luka, he'll give the ball up and you get to keep playing. You get to play 4-on-4 man. Would you take it? Everyone would say yes. This is why the double team isn't always bad because, again, use it to your advantage. I mean, if Luka's just going to have one defender on him, we'll run the pick and roll, make them double, at least get two defenders on him. and let's play with that advantage. And so I just don't like this out of the gate here. Maybe he's thinking Finney's running with a head of steam and that he can get to the hole or something. I just don't like that. I'd rather us at least set a pick here in the middle of the floor.
Here's Finney-Smith. McGee.
If you can tell from that entire exchange how, like, nobody on our team is a shot creator, right? They just aren't, except for maybe Dinwiddie and perhaps Wood a little bit. Luka giving the ball up to Finney-Smith there, unless he knows Finney has a wide open layup or something, I just don't like that move. So it got worked around. Now Luka's got it coming back. Maxey setting a pick. Man, I'm a freaking genius, bro. I was a little worried because you can see now the defense is really stretching themselves here. In my opinion, I don't like when players put I see the Mavs do this a lot. I'm not sure if a lot of offenses do this. Maybe I'm a little unaware. I do not like when they put players here like for spacing, usually they're big man or something, and they kind of hang out here on the baseline, kind of like how McGee is, to kind of open the lane, I think is why they do that. I'm not a big fan of that. I think even if someone is here and maybe they're even a little closer to their guy, once you start driving, even if the lane is open, it usually will collapse. And Luka's not necessarily someone who's so athletic that once he gets that step around someone and gets to the lane, he's just going to rise up and dunk on them, right? So I in terms of a Mavs specifically point of view, I don't necessarily like that we do that. I'd rather have McGee somewhere here for availability and to catch the ball. And because once Luka starts coming to the lane anyways, they're going to collapse and pick him up anyways. And having your guy here is a much worse position than just having him somewhere here already, right? Is kind of what I'm saying. It's hard to catch a Nuke from back here. If you catch it back here, you're going to have to make one move before you get to the basket kind of thing, and that allows the defense to recover. So I've never been a big fan of that, especially with, unless you have someone like a LeBron or some kind of really athletic guard who once they get to the lane, if that lane's open, it's lights out. You know, Luka's not like that. You know, Luka's not going to just absolutely beat someone off the dribble, pick it up as he's coming up to the free throw line, and take, you know, one or two big steps and rise up and dunk it on you because you're having to pay attention to the guy over here, and it's just too much space for you to cover by the time he gets to the rim. Luka's not like that. So having a guy back here, I don't like that. I just don't. I know they're trying to say that's spacing, but the spacing you're usually trying to create for something like that is because you have guys going to the rim who are going to make them pay. And while Luka can do that, it's not in that way, right? Luka's going to get to the rim by bumping you, working you, backing you down. And usually when he gets in the lane, he shoots that turnaround or a little fadeaway anyways. I don't like that, how the Mavs do that. I think that's something they should stop. Because Luka's going to get to the lane if Luka wants to get to the lane, right? It's not usually going to be because he just beats some guy off the dribble with pure speed and athleticism. So again, like I've been saying, here comes the pick, middle of the floor. This is open. The defense is really pushing it now. They're going to try and take away this middle. And why it's good to perhaps do the pick and roll a little further out here, like I'd say, like in the middle of the floor or whatnot. It's just a little dump. It should just be a little pass, right? And the reason why I don't like having McGee back here on what I'm talking about is as this guy goes, if McGee was right here a little more, he might be able to steal his defender and catch a pass if this guy wants to take away the middle. It is possible that this pass, it's a harder pass, but it could be there. Secondly, Finney-Smith can now move over more in here in this area and be available for a pass as well. If this guy really wants to cheat and come all the way up here, Finney-Smith should be right here. And now you got him and McGee working on a little 2-on-1 underneath the basket. You know, I don't know how much more easier you would want it if he's really going to cheat all the way up here. And this is what he's doing. He knows the roller is going to come here, so he's going to try to take that pass away. He's a little late. And let's say he would have taken Maxey away, right? This is why McGee and Finney need to be up a little higher. Luka can make, let's just say this guy really was here. You have to understand how open this would be. This guy has to respect McGee, right? McGee's a catch, drop step, dunk kind of guy, just being as big and athletic as he is. Finney should be wide open right here, theoretically, right? And, how much more open and closer to the basket you would want, I'm not sure. But let's say this guy really cheated hard and took away Maxey right here. Finney should be open right here, right in this area, in my opinion, or even a little here, and it's one dribble to the basket, and he either has to pick him up, dump to McGee, or it's a layup or something like that. So, again, like I said, though, we get it here. It's a quick little dump. They've been doing it more this game, so I'm a little surprised, which I like. And, again, Maxey does right. He turns and attacks. Now, if the whole reason they want McGee here is to maybe open this up for the guy here, I can understand that. But I guess since they haven't been doing that very much up until what I've seen here, I guess I wouldn't have liked it. But if they're saying they want McGee to clear out so whoever gets it here can attack the lane, then okay, I retract what I said, and that's more acceptable. Again, you have to realize by getting it here and attacking, still three guys semi are collapsing on Maxey, and he still gets a layup. I mean, this is what I'm talking about, how there's a lot of guys on this team who get it here, and although they're not good shot creators, they get it here. It's one or two dribbles, attack, and let's see what we get.
Cleveland with a left.
And that's energy. You got
I like that.
to sprint out of the. He's doing the. You have to talk. Take so much
I love to see Dwight Powell in that situation. I just think that he'd feast in that position.
energy and communication there. That's used defensive side, not just on the offensive end.
Doncic has.
In my opinion, well, we don't have a very big lineup out there, so that might be understandable. I still think it looks like they're running a bit more of a man. The only reason I say that is because they have Fred VanVleet hanging out here a lot, and he's still guarding whoever the big man is, which is not what you traditionally would do if they were playing man-to-man. So this is one of those things where maybe you just come down. You just tell Powell to post up VanVleet if that's what they want to do. I don't understand why you can't let Powell attack VanVleet, right? Try to get him posted up right here and tell him to go attack. 1-2 dribbles to the rim, and that's all you get, and you need to get a shot up. So that's why I kind of maybe they're still kind of running a box and one here.
On the defensive side, not just on the offensive end.
See, because he really would stay on Powell here. And I'm thinking also this is partly because they want speed out on Luka out here, which I've also talked about. Why I don't want another guard setting a pick for Luka out here, because two guards trapping Luka, it's semi-difficult for him to break that. Again, Luka's not a speedy guy, right? He's going to ride you and bump you and create his own space. But out here, 40, 45 feet away from the goal and having two quicker athletic guys on him, even if he's smaller like VanVleet, just to get in front of him in terms of a quickness and speed-wise, that's a huge advantage to the defense, or that's how I would attack Luka if you're going to double-team him. You want speed out here to contain him, right? Because if Luka gets by you, especially if you double-teamed him, that's game over. So, again, I think they're still running a bit of a box and one here, because if not, he would have stayed on Powell. But instead, Fred VanVleet's hanging out here.
Doncic.
I don't know. I guess maybe Maxey too. It just depends how you look at that. So let's just see.
Has 8 points, 4 rebounds, 4.
I don't like that. Again, it's okay. It's okay to entice the double team and get them to collapse in on you if it opens this up. Now, Luka didn't use the pick and went here, and it still has the same effect. They're still doubling him, right? So they are definitely running like a double and then a zone here for everyone else. This is the pass.
4 assists. And has 8 points.
Side, not just on the offensive end.
Doncic has 8.
I would have. The reason why I think Luka goes here is because Maxey is here. So that's a communication that they need to work out. Definitely you want Luka rolling if this is how you're going to set up, which is fine, that's okay. If this is how you're going to set up, you want Luka rolling to the side where this third guy who's up and not in the corner, you want him going to the other side. So I think that's why he didn't use Powell as a pick, and maybe Powell, that's a miscue by Powell there. Either way, it's still the same result.
8 points for
As if Powell, it's still the same thing as if Powell had just set this pick. Powell's here, rolling to where he should right here. Again, he's getting a little too deep. You want to draw him out a little bit. That's why you want it here. The more you go in, you're just letting this guy pick you up. Again, right here is the spot. It's not just about the wherever you can get open. This is the spot.
Doncic has 8 points, 4 rebounds.
I mean, here, and he should have stopped. Hands up right here, in my opinion. It makes him much easier to hit. He's only letting this guy guard him more the more he sinks in. And while I know Maxey's open, again, we want layups. We want dunks, especially for us who have been, our team, which has been struggling from the three. This is the spot to get it. And he should have just stopped here, not just kept going, even though he looks open. He should have just stopped right here. And Luka was probably going to kick it here.
And a foul is first half. 7 remaining here in this first half. Nice. Foul. First half. Nice.
Not sure what that was.
A foul. Turnover. Defensive intensity really disrupting them.
And it's ironic to see Gary Trent with 6 Raptors got
11 points.
Bonus.
For that chance. Go hustling for the rebound. Kleba comes away with it.
You're going to pick him up.
One difference game.
I'm okay with this.
Shot clock.
Well, no, I'm sorry. I would rather, again, have the big man bring him up and see what they do.
Doncic doubled. It's game clock, shot clock.
Still, I really don't care. I really don't, in terms of at this point, right? Whoever the roller is, it's still to here. It is still to here. I don't like this rolling out here and fading. Again, you're giving the defense more time to recover and rotate. We want to attack, and we're only going to get a second or two to attack off these guys out here, 2-on-1 Luka. You're only going to get a second or two to attack. And out here means essentially you're shooting a 3. Here, we're trying to get dunks and layups, high percentage shots. I still would have liked to have seen Bullock come here, even though Bullock is not the main guy I would like to do this. I mean, Bullock can hit 15-footers better than he can threes, just about, right? I would imagine almost everyone can, or even a little floater or something. So I would have liked to seen it here in attack. And again, I don't like Bullock because Bullock is not necessarily one of our more explosive, athletic players. Not saying he can't dunk or anything, but again, I'd much rather have a Maxey, a bit of a better shooter, mid-range guy too, probably a little more touch, and probably a little stronger going to the hole than Bullock. Well, everyone on our team's stronger than Bullock going to the hole. He missed like 3 wide open layups against Boston, or layups he should have had. I want Powell. I would even take Finney-Smith. Finney-Smith's more athletic than Bullock in terms of explosiveness. Having Bullock come here and setting this pick and rolling to here is the worst guy to do it, in my opinion. I still would rather him catch it here, but again, he's just so one-dimensional, 3 or nothing kind of guy. Again, you're bailing the defense out. You're not attacking them. You're not making them pay for what they're doing to you. So I don't like this. It should be Bullock in the corners doing the only thing he can do, which is shoot a set shot 3. And it should be Finney here possibly turning and attacking, or Powell or Maxey. Again, this is just basic knowing your personnel as a coach. I don't know why Bullock is setting that pick.
And the corner 3 doesn't go. Powell. They're going to settle it down for the final shot here of the first half. Doncic.
Oh, sorry. Why didn't they reset the shot clock?
Down for the final shot here. Doesn't go. Powell. Doncic doubled.
Oh, because it's less than the game clock.
Doesn't go. Powell. First half.
So again, I understand there's 5 seconds to go when he shoots this. I get that. If you can't see, it's 4.7 seconds right here. You know, I understand that. Shot selection, I don't like this. You know, I think sometimes Luka plays a little too much hero ball with his three-pointers and his followays and stuff, which, again, Luka is Luka. I understand that, and he kind of has the green light to do whatever he wants, but you're also bailing the defense out every time you shoot a shot like this, in my opinion. You're not a threat. They're just going to try and hope to get a hand up for you, and if you want to shoot those, they'll live with that, you know, as good as you are.
Doncic, deep three, range, yeah, 29%.
Again, he made it. I understand. It's fine. I mean, I still would rather see him put it on the floor, something like that. Again, 5 seconds to go. You know, I can't complain too much, but I still think the shot selection could have been a little better.
Good adjustment, and the shots back. Good went out the game. He just played him for the rest of the.
Van get up. Around Gomez. That young, and it doesn't go. So Boucher starts a second.
Okay, we got Dinwiddie, Finney-Smith, Bullock, Powell, and Luka.
Second half. Over Hernan Gomez. Hernan Gomez. Starts the second half. Over Hernan Gomez.
Look at this. This is what Bullock needs to see here. He needs to be going straight to the rim, and if not, Powell is here for the dump-off. This is what I'm saying. When you beat your man, even when, you know I say a lot, it just seems like Jason Kidd's pick and roll, and then after you get at that, drive and dish, if the three isn't there, you're driving here.
Oh, man.
He totally, look at this. He totally has Van Fleet beaten here. This is just kind of the mindset of understanding that you have to attack a defense when they've messed up or they've presented you with an opportunity. He should have gone straight to the hole. I don't care if it's Bullock or not. He should have gone straight to the hole, and it's a 2-on-1 in the NBA right here. Like right now, he should be thinking dunk. I'm going to try to dunk in until this guy stops me. And instead, he kind of stops and backs because I just don't think Bullock has a lot of confidence going to the hole, which I understand. But you have to understand right now, I mean, look at this. Between you and Powell and this guy, you have to attack that. And this is what I'm talking about, taking pressure off of Luka. He essentially is saying, if I don't have a wide open three, I'm not going to do anything. And because we have to give the ball to Luka and run the offense through him. No, the defense has messed up. You have beaten your man off the dribble. Lane is wide open. This guy's not a factor right now. And you should be attacking the rim until this guy picks you up and Powell's going to catch that alley-oop. That's what you should be doing.
Hernan Gomez with 2 fouls.
So, again, it's just I understand Bullock's not necessarily the guy we want making our offensive plays, but I think he missed an opportunity there.
Boucher, so active in that first half, 12 points in it. 8 rebounds. Here's Dwight Powell laying it up and in, and we're 12 points in it. Fouls, Boucher.
So I kind of like this because with Luka on the floor, right? They are focusing so hard on Luka. I think it's okay to run a pick and roll here with 2 of your other guys. And again, I haven't seen us do much of this. I mean, we do set a lot of pick and rolls for Dinwiddie, but usually when Luka's not on the floor. So again, this is okay. Like this is what I'm talking about, where some pressure, some responsibility needs to be taken off of Luka's shoulders on the offensive end.
So active in that first half, 12 points in it. 8 rebounds. Here's Dwight Powell laying it up in.
So I mean, Powell and Dinwiddie going to the hole is a decent 1-2 combination. You know, I know Powell's not, the most well-known in the league, and Dinwiddie's getting more well-known and is very good for us this year. But in terms of guys going to the hole, those 2 guys are pretty darn good at it.
And we're tied.
Bring that energy off of the necessary that bring the three-point shot, but he does bring a different element that helped the Raptors get that lead.
Dinwiddie.
That was a good play though.
Element that helped the Raptors get that lead.
Wow, yeah. Dang. He tries to throw it straight at Powell for a dump down instead of throwing it up.
Dinwiddie. And his pass.
Help the Raptors get that lead.
Dinwiddie. And
that one's tough. That was a good play by Dinwiddie. Good read by Powell. He slipped past his man.
That helped the
Look,
Raptors
Powell here. This is smart.
get that lead.
I mean, I like Powell, man. I do. Powell's a high IQ guy. That's tough. That's a tough miss right there.
Dinwiddie. And his pass intended for Powell. Driving off.
Took that patient, changing up his speeds and getting to the spot he wanted to get to.
And 27.
So that's twice now I've seen Luka go away from the pick.
7 points, 7 rebounds, 5 steals in that first meeting. And 27.
Being patient, changing up his speeds and getting to the spot.
So they're starting out man like an actual man. It looks like they're actually matched up on people they should be matched up on.
He wanted.
I'm just curious why Luka's done this twice. Again, you got another guy here. This side's open. Just trying to think. Maybe he knew Bullock. Maybe that's why Bullock's supposed to flash up.
It was a good move, being patient, changing up his speeds and getting to the spot he wanted to get to.
If that's why, because Bullock flashes up here, he's supposed to kind of trail this open spot of the pick and roll, then that makes sense. But then again, and maybe that's part of the little misdirection here is you have Powell acting as if he's going to set a pick here, but Luka goes the other way. So maybe that's part of the misdirection. Maybe that's why.
And 27 points, 7 rebounds, 5 steals in that first meeting. Shots.
It's okay.
Short batted volleyball. Coming over.
At the half game, he's hitting him. He gets going basketball. That's why it's going to be a problem potentially, but they got to limit that right away. It's a playoff style basketball approach, so they're going to keep on mixing up the coverages like they have done so far, Matt. Playoffs.
This is definitely a different bit of a change of pace here from Kidd, at least I think, in my opinion. We're not coming up, stopping as soon as we get across the half-court line and waiting for the pick and whatnot and letting the defense kind of feel stuff out. We're coming across the half-court and we're going. I mean, again, it's all about just giving different looks. I just want to see something else from this offense. So, again, it's not the most creative thing, but, again, it's gotten us a few open looks, a few easy layups. The defense looks like they haven't quite adjusted to it yet. Powell's going to get fouled here on a roll. So, I mean, again, I just want to see something else from Jason Kidd on the offensive end. While this is not mind-blowing stuff or amazingly creative or anything I'm going to write home about, again, it's just all it is following up the fastball with the changeup. I mean, that's really all I'm looking for right now. So this is at least a bit of a change of pace. I don't see them do this a whole lot, and I've seen them do it much more this game. And so it's good. Come down one time. You set your very standard pick and roll, slow pace, methodical. Hit the guy rolling to the middle of the floor, preferably, which they've done as well. Then you come down the next time and you just go. You might flash that pick and roll for a second, but everyone's immediately kind of going. We're not even using it. So again, I like it.
Style basketball approach, so they're going to keep on mixing, but they got to limit that right away.
And it's just crazy, right? I mean, people can sit here and talk about how good Luka is all day. I mean, whenever we watch these videos, everyone is looking at Luka 24/7. I mean, almost 24/7, right? And I would like to see us get some more back cuts involved because Luka gets so much attention. And that's my main frustration on offense is that Kidd does not open things up for other guys on the floor with how much attention that Luka gets. 33's looking at him. He's looking at him. He's obviously, but this is his job right here is to be in Luka's pocket all game. He's looking at Luka. And I understand they don't really have to worry about their guys right now, but again, as Luka comes down the floor, and if we're going, they're still going to be looking at Luka, right? It's not as if Luka gets closer to the basket, they're going to look away and find their defender, or they'll find their guy they're guarding. And so it's just amazing to me how much it can be two-sided, right? The fact that they don't respect anyone else on our team and how much attention Luka gets and deserves.
It's a playoff style.
See, this guy has not.
That's why it's going to be a problem potentially. But
Watch 33 here. Like, once he starts looking at Luka, he barely looks over at Dinwiddie after that. And Dinwiddie's our second best offensive player.
limit that right away. It's a playoff style.
Look, still hasn't looked back. Kind of looks back here for a second. I mean, I guess to me, like, you should see this on film and understand there are some basic backdoor cut opportunities here, in my opinion. Watch 33.
But they got to limit that right away. It's a playoff style basketball approach, so they're going to keep on.
I mean, he doesn't look back at Dinwiddie once, I don't think.
But they got to limit that right away. It's a playoff style.
So good hesitation here by Luka because he really freezes up this guy for a second. It's actually nice to
Once he
watch.
gets going, that's what's going to be a
Watch him freeze that guy up for a second.
problem potentially, but they got to limit that right away. It's a playoff style basketball approach, so they're going to keep on mixing up the coverages like they have right away. It's a playoff style.
I know it may not look like much, but it's just kind of how much attention Luka gets. It's absolutely incredible. He doesn't even want to think about Powell right now. He just wants to guard Luka. So Luka like kind of freezes him up, and here comes Powell, and it's just hard for him to recover.
Approach, so they're going to keep on mixing up the coverages like they have right away. It's a
He almost
playoff
does it twice.
style basketball approach, so they're going to keep
He kind of does it again, and by the time he's ready to go jump for the ball, Powell's already
on
exploding
mixing
up.
up the coverages like they have done so far, Matt.
Just little things like that are just kind of interesting to me.
Doncic is.
You know what I love? And so that's another element you have to pay attention to if you're a Dallas Mavericks player. You have to pay attention to Chris.
All right, here comes. So now, since we saw that a lot in the Boston game, we haven't really been able to break down a double team over here on the wing. This is it still is almost the same principle. First, you got to get someone right here on this block once you come out and get double teamed, because you need to suck someone down over into here, which is almost like a worthless space in a way, but you need a defender to come down here, and someone's got to be right here in the middle. Again, it's all about on this double team, you still want to get the ball to the middle in a way, and the ball. Again, if you come here, right, someone has to pick you up. We're almost just running a man down there, so a defender has to pick them up. This guy can probably shade up a little bit to make this pass a little easier. And if someone's right here for an easy pass, that draws another man out. And this middle should be open. And again, it's an immediate attack, and we're trying to get the guy who came down here to pick one of these two guys up. And here we go for some kind of short-range shot.
Doncic, they'll swing it. Three. Doncic.
Player, you have to pay attention to Chris. If you're a Dallas Mavericks player, you have to pay attention to Chris.
This is also I was talking about why I'd like to get Luka in spots like this with his dribble and a little closer. This is a great example why. You want to allow him to sit there. Let's see what the defense is doing, right? It's almost like a quarterback coming up to the line, and if you have enough time, right, he can kind of do a count or two, see who's going to blitz, or read the defense, how many DBs, who's playing safety, where's he at. It allows Luka to scan the defense for a second. This is something Dirk was really good at. He was so good out of the double team, he never got a lot of credit for it. Allows Luka to look at the defense and understand what's going on. Someone like Luka will break it down. I have no doubt about that. He's good enough to break it down, and if an opportunity presents itself, he'll be able to see it. But again, if you're dribbling and a guy's hounding you, it's really hard to see what's also going on while also having a defender, especially with Luka. They're not going to give Luka any space to breathe. It's hard for him to be dribbling and also reading the defense all at once. And that's a lot of times why we get in trouble on these pick and rolls out in the corner sometimes, because Luka's worrying about protecting the ball and making a play instead of being able to see who's open or what's out there. And that's why I think it's important that if we could get Luka the ball a little deeper with his dribble, it's a huge advantage. It's a big difference. And he can turn, and he can just look over his shoulder, and he can see what is happening and what is going on with the defense. And while maybe even the first time it doesn't work, we come back and do it again. He gets the ball here. Now he's got an idea. He's seen something once or twice. He knows who's coming from which direction. And other players, if he's some of these guys, he should have enough chemistry with that he can give them a look or some kind of look away, or understand where that open spot is. And that's what Carlisle, I thought, is better at than Kidd, in knowing what's going to be there. And so that's why I think having a difference between him bringing the ball up and him getting the ball in a spot and working, it's all, I'm not going to say it's night and day, but it's a big difference. It's a huge advantage. So again, look, he's able to turn and look. And so right now what this is Luka now has put one play into his brain in terms of what's going to happen.
Doncic, he'll swing it.
That's okay. You know, again, for one play that he got, swung it around, wide open shot. That's okay.
Three doesn't.
As well, that's how you can limit some of the offensive go on the defensive end. Make them play some defense as well. That's how you can limit some of the offensive.
Man, it's just crazy how much they go after Luka. Probably right here, Finney needs to be the little dump down just because we kind of went quick into that double team. I would have liked to have.
On the defensive end.
I would have liked to seen us hold up a little bit, maybe in the backcourt even, and let everybody come down. Or Luka just needs to go, and this is a one-on-one here.
Make them play some defense as well. That's how you can limit some of the offensive opportunities.
Ooh, that was the right idea, though.
As well, that's how you can limit some of the offensive.
Again, the open spot is still going to be here in the middle, always.
Opportunities.
Good pass. Little bounce pass here to Powell. Bounce pass here to Powell. And Powell turns, pump fakes 25, or he can kick it out to Campazzo, which Campazzo is a set shooter. You know, I'm probably okay with that. And or Bullock can come down here too and cut. And this should have been a bounce pass to Powell. You know, again, Bullock, not a good play by Bullock. He should have bounced past that to Powell. And that's probably a bucket.
Campazzo on the floor.
Finney Smith, sorry.
And out of bounds, Dallas basketball.
Some of the offensive.
Again, it's almost the same principle, right? Again, if you're going to space the floor, the middle is almost always open.
Opportunities.
Nice pass here to Finney. It's still right here. Bounce pass to Powell. And you can either you got Finney coming right up behind you following. Powell maybe pump fakes this guy and gets a layup or just dunks it right out. Or a kick out to Campazzo. So that's on Finney right there. That's a bad pass.
On the floor. Intensity, yeah.
Get that hands up. And you
Points better than 7.
see that intensity at the start of the second half.
Averaging 12.5 points, better than 7 rebounds, and over 3 assists.
I don't like that. Here. Give it back to Powell.
Averaging 12.5 points, better than 7 rebounds, and over.
Boom. It should be on the way already, in my opinion. Maybe hold it for just a split second longer, let these guys really commit, and then boom. It should be right here. And I mean, what Van Fleet's going to roll over and stop Powell as he's going to the basket, and this kick out is still here.
It says as a starter. Campazzo with the 3 doesn't go. Starter, averaging 12.5 points, better than 7 rebounds, and over 3 assists. As a
It's really tough also to create offense when if you don't hit some open shots from time to time when you're like this, you know. And this is just a tough one, you know. Unfortunately, I thought the pass should immediately gone to Powell here, but then again, I mean, if they're gonna leave Campazzo this open, I mean, you're playing 4-on-5 to begin with.
starter. Campazzo.
Now he's
Shea inside. Kid. It's an 8-0. Great. 5.
ball in your hand. And will mention you can do other things that can impact the game and will impact the game and will impact winning. And Chris Boucher is showing how to do it.
Doncic. Mochi got a piece of it.
Have the ball in your hands, as I mentioned, you can do other things. And Chris Boucher can impact the game and will impact the game and will impact winning.
Also with the pick and roll and Luka, again, to draw that double team, you do want it to kind of happen out here. It gives you another second to attack, more space that the defense has to cover.
And Chris Boucher is showing how to do it.
Doncic. OG got a piece of it. Doncic. OG got a piece of it. And it's deflected. Doncic. OG got a piece of it.
I don't know what happened there. It looked like Bullock almost pulled his hands in as if, like, I guess he either thought someone tipped it or was going to tip it and it was going to go out of bounds.
And it's deflected. OG hustling. And it's going to be Dallas basketball.
Okay, so someone tipped it. Still, that's a dangerous ball to let go in the backcourt like that.
Ball. Sure. Kennedy. And I got the call.
Okay, so Bullock didn't pull his hands in. He just missed it. It got tipped, and it was a hard catch, so just happens.
It's off of Reggie Bullock for sure. Kennedy.
I like that by Campazzo. Campazzo, again, is what I talk about transition, take some pressure off Luka. He just comes – oh, also the shot clock. Okay, so Campazzo got it, and he was just coming down the court. Nice pump fake by Finney and to get the foul. Again, they should be pump faking more and attacking, or at least seeing what's there. So pump faking, got him in the air, gets the 3 free throws.
And now a foul is going.
What are they mad at? They think he jumped to the side too much.
A foul is going to be charged to here. And Smith, you got the overlock. We get D7 and 16. But in a game like this, if you're Nick Nurse, maybe you're saying, you know what? I may need that challenge in the fourth quarter.
No,
right?
for sure. Got to be strategic about it.
C2 on the duck, and he's got. Maybe you're saying.
Again, I don't like the double pick at the top. I just think it's a little useless. I think simply bringing, because again they're only going to double team Luka, right? They're not going to triple team him or anything like that. And so I would like to just have someone like Powell or bringing the big man out and picking here and just keep it simple. I think kids getting a little too cute with these double picks, unless there's some look they're trying to go for. But I think it's simply just saying, trying to get Luka open more will send another pick. I don't think that's the right way to go about it. Maybe there's some kind of roll or look or wrinkle they're looking for, but I think you're just getting a little too cute. I think just one pick will do.
You know what? I may need that challenge in the.
And the main reason I don't like it is because usually this middle guy, their defender, is just going to sag in the lane anyways. So you're kind of doing a bunch of extra steps up at the top, and the guy's not even really respecting it to begin with, because more than likely when you go around that first, you're probably going around the second, right? And so it's his job as a defender to hold back anyways and give his other teammates some space to run in between. So it's just kind of pointless in my opinion, right? Whereas just a single pick, both of those defenders have to pay attention to what you're doing when you're coming around the edge.
Fourth quarter,
no,
right?
For sure. Got to be strategic about it.
Yeah, double dribble.
And a double dribble.
And I let him to finish the play off. Good. And then Chris.
And a double dribble. Boucher. If you're Nick Nurse, maybe you're saying,
You can
know
see
what?
Finney
I
dribbles
may
it
need
here.
that challenge in the fourth quarter.
No,
right?
for sure. Got to be strategic
He used the dribble right there to regain control.
about it.
Just bad turnover.
Even lead with the pick and roll dunker spot.
OG 0-2 it up from three-point range. Pazzo back. Oh, and Chris 0-2 from three-point range. Has 16 and 9. Here's Doncic. Gives it up and swings it. Campazzo back over to Doncic. The bounce, and it rims out, and it's going to be a foul. The bounce. Campazzo 16 and.
Again, one thing I've just never been a big fan of is Kid just loves to sit some guys here in the corner and they just don't do anything. I don't like that. These guys are not having to think or really work. And I've talked about this a lot already, so I'm not going to rehash the whole point, but I just don't like that. These guys need to be moving around, setting picks, back cutting, moving on the baseline, something, right? I just don't like that. Again, maybe if Finney-Smith cuts back door here, as Powell's coming through, this spot is now a little more open. It's just these guys are just sagging in the lane so much because they don't respect these corner guys. It's just making things harder down here for Luka, who likes to get in the lane and operate.
9. Here's Doncic. Gives it up and swings it. Campazzo back over to Doncic. The bounce. And it
whatever.
Unself.
Call. Wood with the rejection. Here's Bullock. Raptors by 7. Wood back over to Bullock. And a reach in on Thaddeus.
For against Chicago.
I don't like Wood being the guy who's having a pick come and set for him either. That's just not his strong suit. Like, he's not going to be a guy who comes around that edge and it threatens you other than maybe shooting the 3. And again, as a guy who I said this in the beginning of the video, as a guy out here on the outside, as he starts to go to the lane, he's not a guy who's going to lose anybody, right? He's got long strides and he's nice to see in the open floor. And if he gets it kind of in a spot and he's going to make a move quickly or something, that's one thing. He's got enough length here. He can shoot a little jumper over you in the lane and whatnot. But in terms of coming off a pick and possibly having to go all the way to the hole, I don't like Wood in that situation.
And it's impactful, right? He's not getting a lot of shot opportunities. And it's impactful, right? He's not getting a lot of shot opportunities.
And the three-pointer is good.
Yeah.
Spinning with the left.
And to me, his footwork has gotten so much better. Offensive foul. To me, his footwork has gotten so much better. Offensive foul. And to me, his footwork has gotten so much better.
See, I guess maybe his arm just looks like it's coming off, but I just feel like, and Luka needs to stop complaining to the refs, but at the same time, like, this guy is not even set. He's just moved in the way of Luka. I don't know, man. It's just questionable, I suppose. A good acting job, I guess you could say.
Offensive foul.
Offensive. And Doncic, that's his first.
It's showing him so he couldn't with that footwork.
And it over.
Kobe Bryant, that's right to left.
And a foul.
Offensive 3-2.
Off of the right, both of them. 2,000 came off the bench and had a double-double since.
Again, if we're going to bring the ball up, so besides Luka, I want him getting the ball down here. Getting the ball up here just puts us right back where we were in the first place.
January 23rd, 2000, Kevin Willis and Tracy McGrady.
K-Dub.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was. That looks horrible.
January 23rd, 2000.
Luka maybe, I think, just wanting Wood to get some touches. Again, which is a sign of that Luka likes playing with Wood or likes Wood's game, which I guess is good, but he definitely tries to force it right here.
Kevin Willis. Double.
Again, this picks and coming off of picks of just everyone is bad about this in the NBA, by the way. It's kind of like a lost art form, setting a pick properly and using it.
It's January 23rd, 2000.
Wait just a second. Wood needs to get up here.
Kevin
really dangerous to getting a moving pick called on you. Luka's flaring out all the way over here instead of attacking the edge here. He's got the mismatch, so I understand that. He probably didn't expect that guy to fall off of him either. So that's maybe a good defensive read here. Luka's probably expecting that because that's all he knows is guys staying out and double teaming him. So he probably was expecting him to stay out on him and get Wood the ball. But, yeah, I don't know. Again, that's what I'm saying. When we set this pick, it's kind of clogging up the lane. The pick for Luka needs to be out here.
He rocked it 4 years in the league and still in a foul with 20 plus years in the league and still in a foul with 6:05 or 20.
Yeah, and that
20 better.
and I remember that we all learned that who was old accepted their
Got McCullough.
Documentaries now.
young fella came for a little while. We had some camaraderie. We had, we were together sharing stories and everything. Muggsy, Oak.
See what I'm saying though? Like setting this pick just a little more out here, it's just so much more open, right? When you're doing it here, everyone's kind of collapsing in the lane looking for Luka, and even if you have someone like Wood getting a mismatch, it's hard to get him the ball. It needs to be a little more spaced out.
Here's right?
And now you don't even talk to anyone. Everyone's just got their headphones on, their head down, looking at their phone. We had some camaraderie. We had, we were together sharing stories and everything. Muggsy, Oak.
And they all got stories. There's a
I don't know, man. Some of these calls.
Stories and everything. Muggsy, Oak.
Green looked pretty well set there to me. He wasn't really moving.
We had, we were together sharing stories and everything. Muggsy.
Kind of the same thing when they double and it's a quick pass. I think Luka should be making perhaps some more passes a little bit quicker out of this pick and roll sometimes too. Like the ball kind of should already be over here to Wood on its way, knowing more than likely they're going to be following him anyways, and Van Fleet has to respect Green and you coming around the edge.
Oak.
And they all
Yeah,
got
I don't know.
stories.
That's a bad call.
where they get
In the suits, attacking the glass team, the mixture. There's
double. He has a franchise
So same play.
record 26.
Boom. I mean, it's there, right? Again, if Luka's going to get so much attention, they're going to double him, etc. And this guy's got to respect him coming around that second pick. Maybe this is that look they're trying to go for, but again, when they said it last time, the double pick was way out here. This time it's a little more in here, which the spacing's a little better. I like it right here instead of out here where it was that one time. That pass needs to be on its way already, right? I mean, Wood is rolling. He's wide open. This is maybe a little bit of a fault on Luka here, or the coaching staff needs to let him know when you come around this double pick and Wood's the first roller, it's there. Because this guy's going to be chasing you. Everyone's going to be focused on you and or just doubling you outright, as we've seen. That's there.
Off of the bench. In his career.
Dangerous pass. He almost got that.
Franchise record 26 off of the bench. In his.
This is also where Luka's a scorer, although he's a great creator. I guess technically he kind of plays like a point guard, but that's just one of those things where, I mean, you should know that's. Also, I guess if you're not going to hit the roller, right, then let's get Green on that first pick going and clearing out and having Wood stay out here for a possible pick and pop in a three, right? He's open still. Green needs to hit him.
His career as a Raptor. Green. He has a frame.
So if you're not going to hit this guy, let's have Green set this pick and Green clear out, right? Now, Wood's a great roller to the basket. I'm totally fine with that. But Wood obviously shoots threes better than Green, right? So if you're going to have this second guy pick and pop and stay out here for a possible three, especially if they double, much rather it be Wood than Green.
Franchise record 26 off of the bench in his career as a Raptor. Green, Kleba.
playing his role.
Thaddeus Young. Here's Wood. Travel.
Man, they do call that on Wood a lot.
Roll.
Thaddeus Young. Here's Wood. Travel.
Roll.
Thaddeus Young. Here's Wood. Travel.
His role.
Thaddeus Young. Here's.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, okay.
Wood. Traveling. In quarter. To the front court. The three. No. And Hardaway Jr. with it into the front court. OG disrupts
What? I mean, Hardaway, god damn it.
it. With it in a bucket. Making it for their own.
And you bring the two different players in Hernan Gomez with the three-point opportunity.
Nice look away by Luka there.
You bring the two different players in Hernan Gomez.
Quick hesitation. Acts like he's going to throw it out, so this guy's already ready to leave.
With the three-point opportunity.
Nice play.
You see Luka different now.
Have attempted chance opportunity floor, and it comes back through. Doncic right.
Another nice play. Again, that little change of pace. This is, again, though, I've said this about Luka when he starts doing this. I feel like this is a part of frustration on Luka's part because they can't beat this double team and the amount of attention he's getting. So he's just saying, I'm just going to take it. I'm not even going to let them get set. This doesn't feel like those other sets they've been coming down where the whole team is ready to go at a faster pace and quicker out of the gate once they cross the half court. This looks like they're having a slower half court set. He's supposed to come set a pick, but Luka's going to kind of fake Van Fleet here and go. My opinion, this is Luka being a little frustrated and just wants to go instead of letting the defense queue up on him.
Through. Doncic right to the rim.
And make it hard.
Young point game. It up, doesn't go. 9-point game. 3:37 left. Doncic, there it is. OG on Thad Young. He splits the double. Gets it up. Good job by Hernan Gomez. Shot to Thad Young. 3:37 left. Doncic, there it is. OG on Thad Young.
Well, that was it's hard to complain on this one, right? The only thing I'm complaining about is that Luka split that double team with Wood rolling here.
3:37 left. Doncic, there it is. OG on him.
So now they're kind of in the same spot. Wood probably should have just stopped right here.
Splits the double.
Well, I don't know. I mean, yeah, you can't complain about that, I suppose. And the Hardaway just misses.
Doncic, there it is. OG on him. Thad Young. He splits the double. Gets it up. Good job by Hernan Gomez. OG on him. Thad Young. He splits the double.
13 seconds on the shot clock when he shoots this. Got a guy closing out on him. Maxi's here. Maxi can either catch and shoot or take this in for a little shot here before 3 gets back. 3's supposed to be guarding Luka. Remember that. So 3's going to be coming back looking for Luka. I maybe would have liked to seen one more pass here.
Gets it up. Good job by Hernan Gomez. Shot doesn't get out. Young.
To get through the pick up your intensity.
And boost.
It's kind of like what you just doing. You picked up your defense intensity. Defensive side. It's kind of like what you just doing. You picked up your defense.
Looks like just an inbound. Luka pulls the trigger. Again, he's really far away. 13 seconds on the clock. Just shot selection, like Luka, you can get this shot anytime. We're now down by 9 at this point. 3:30 to go in the third. I just don't like this. I know that's his spot, but
Fred operating in the paint.
I will admit, though, it's probably really hard as a coach to go to someone like Luka and say, hey, do this a little more, do that a little more, like, hey, don't shoot so many threes, try to get to the hole 1 or 2 more times instead of taking those 1 or 2 more threes, right? I'm sure that's kind of a hard thing to do with someone like Luka.
Blocks.
It's
Two
and eyes, but sometimes you just keep them off balance, and Fred does a good job of that.
Green.
See, good. I like that. Let's go. Someone like Green in the open court is a problem. He is definitely hard to guard,
And he falls hard to the floor, but he bounces back up. And a foul is going to be. That's going to be. Michigan in Boston. 5 games to Golden State.
Luka was still on the floor. Okay, so I like that. I thought maybe Luka got subbed in, but Luka's still on the floor right there. Green gets it and goes. And if you notice, they had a bit of a fast break here. 3-on-2, theoretically. I know these guys are right behind Green, but they're not going to catch up with Green. So this is a 3-on-2. I like this. So this is good. I like that. Again, easy bucket. It's an easy attack.
47 here.
I'm here for my call. Number. I mean, talk about Chris, right, Matt? What team in the NBA?
So they're going to try to get Luka freed up here with the pick on the elbow or free throw line. Try to get him in that spot.
Raptors included.
Again, here, he picks it up. He's able to see what everyone's doing.
Would not want a Chris Boucher on their team.
Try to draw a foul there.
President.
Van Vliet, Birch, Anunoby, Hernan Gomez.
I was just going to say, that is the shot. Hardaway's been struggling. That is the shot he needs to get. A 15-footer, an 18-footer. something, come around, dribble, one dribble or something, straight up, straight down. None of this fading, no fading away. You're struggling. I want you to come. I want you to plant. I want you to shoot a shot like that. That's what I want you to be looking for. And the Mavs desperately need some mid-range shooting, right? We've got enough three-point shooters, right? Hardaway from 15 to 18 feet, I think, is very good. As much as he's been struggling, I think he will hit that shot. That is what Hardaway needs to be shooting right now, in my opinion. I don't think Bullock can do that. I don't think Finney-Smith can do that. Maxey maybe a little bit, but he kind of has to be open. I don't think he can really come off a pick or something and do that. I don't even really think Green can do that. I don't even really know if, Luka just not being perhaps as quick a first 1, 2, 3 steps as Hardaway maybe is compared to him. We desperately could use someone coming off a pick, mid-range game. And if you have a nice little shot, because, again, they're focusing on Luka and whatnot, that's the shot they need to be getting Hardaway right now. Little pick coming around. I mean, just boom. That's what he needs to be shooting right now.
And
very talented.
Yep. Short. Stays more power in his game.
Just power, and it came into the rack, cleaning up your own miss. Now you're in the defensive end, so your job never stops.
There it is. There it is. There it is.
Wood, corner 3.
It's okay. That's better than what we've been getting. The ball moved around. We got it to the middle.
Stop. Up your own miss. Now you're in the defensive end, so your job never stops.
Maybe a kickback here to Hardaway. That's a pretty contested 3. Again, Maxey should have hung out here, right?
Wood, corner, defensive end, so cleaning up your own miss.
This is almost perfect,
now you're
though.
in the defensive end, so your job
I like this.
never stops.
I like where he gets it. They're having to hit him or cover Maxey. There's the pass. Maxey should have stayed here. Maxey should have just hung out here. Again, they're rushing out to find us. I think Wood should have kicked it back here one more time. Maxey's wide open right here. Just hang out here, man. I mean, look at that, dude. I mean, if he would have just stayed here. 20 and 41, or whether he gets this shot up or not, or kicks it back out to Hardaway Jr. or not, they're both going to be right here doing the same thing. Maxey should have hung out right here. Should have been one more pass to Hardaway, and Maxey's open right here. And then you got him and Green rolling. You got, if Maxey decides to shoot or Van Fleet comes over, Maxey puts it on the floor one time. You got Green rolling to the basket with you. So, we beat the double team as I would like to see. We didn't fully take advantage of it, I don't think. While Wood shooting a corner 3 semi-open is okay, I think we could have got something here.
Fred. And a travel is...
No, it was the left foot. He just got finished praising him about his footwork. He can't travel that much.
That's good. Again, attack, We don't have to necessarily get set and let the defense dictate what Luka does. That's why I like this little change of pace in this game I've seen so far.
No way, he can't travel that much.
I like that.
Foot. He just got finished praising him about his foot. No way, he kept the pivot foot down, which was the left foot.
That's on Van Fleet. He should have hung out here a little longer.
Just got finished praising.
Now, this is just my opinion.
Oh, wait. Work. The pivot foot down, which was the left foot.
I think they're still semi kind of running a box and one here a little bit. Again, this guy in Hardaway didn't make a lot of sense. Van Fleet here's, I think, coming to switch with him or something. This guy looks like he's totally committed to his zone. He's just he doesn't really pick up the fact that Maxey's coming up and whatnot. You see what I'm saying? He doesn't even follow Maxey at all. He looks like he was totally committed to defending this area right here at the time. So, I think they might still be playing some form of box and one. Exactly what they're trying to do, who knows? But yeah, this is why someone like Wood is invaluable to us right now, and Dinwiddie, guys who can just get to the hole, score, etc. Again, like I said, I don't like if Wood has to kind of break a guy down and come all the way from the 3-point line, but right here, one dribble attack.
Praise him about his footwork. He can't travel that much.
Wood the other way.
That's
with
good.
a bucket.
I'll take that.
Yeah,
At this point, the Mavs are hurting for offense right now. Take what the defense gives you, and someone like Wood and Dinwiddie can make them pay.
didn't see it. You just got to.
Yeah, for sure.
Fred, shot doesn't go. Doncic running the floor. Kleba.
Very nice. Very nice. Easy buckets. We'll take as many as we can get right now.
These games, especially when you're under
Fred.
4, and I have.
And a lot of conversation. Free throw line with 20% in the season on November 4th. 23 now. 6-point game. Doncic in the corner. 3.
That's tough.
In and out.
A little bit of a 2-for-1 there, or perhaps depending on what. Toronto, though, should be going for a 2-for-1 also. There you go.
And he's the type of game. Fred VanVleet feeling it. He knew he was going to have a big game. And these are the type of games that he delivers in all the time.
Wood, no basket. And there's a foul on the floor. And that time Doughton again. Step back attack.
We should have came down a little faster and got a 2-for-1 back against them again.
Would he be stripping from a
Kleba ahead now. Green.
Okay, so that's my video. Yeah, I don't know. I think a little bit of a better change of pace on this one from the Mavs. At least they're giving them some different styles and again, a different pace. And, again, still not much creativity on the offensive end, but they're at least kind of, given, sort of come in with our methodical pick and roll, and then we're also trying to go a little bit faster. So, I hope that was part of the game plan and not just the Mavs, the players themselves figuring that out, or Luka mainly. A good little change of pace there. So, that's good. Again, we held Toronto to 105 points. So, again, we're just not producing enough offense. I think we left some easy points on the floor from what I could see from the second and third quarter. We're shooting, where we shot some contested threes. I think we should have attacked the rim a little more. Another pass or two on some other plays. But I like the change of pace, and I in my opinion, I'm thinking in this one, I feel like we're seeing the ball in the hands of other players a little more. Again, I don't like what we're having them do. I wish Kidd would get them the ball in better spots, playing to some more of their strengths, and there needs to be some more communication about what we're looking for in terms of attacking a defense. But, again, I know we lost this game, but I still and I saw the game tonight against Milwaukee. I guess it's last night now. And I'll do some film room on that one. This was still a better change of pace. Tiny improvement. Very small, very tiny. I don't know if I should give them credit for it or not, considering we only got 100 points total. But I like at least we're doing something else or trying to give some sort of a different look and stylistic approach. And it worked from time to time. I saw us get a few easy buckets in transition. We almost never do that in a game. Us kind of coming across half court and going instead of kind of waiting for the basic pick and roll. We always got some easy looks. The next wrinkle to that, I think, is when we go, just the other guys, we're not ready to do the next phase. We're not ready to, once we beat them, we get around them and you get the kick out, we need to be looking for certain things that were there that I don't think we exploited very well. And then on the pick and roll, the double pick and roll we ran, that looked pretty bad. I'm not going to lie. The pick and roll actually looked worse than what I saw tonight than it usually does. We got the ball in the middle of the floor better, I thought. I think Toronto's running a little bit of a box and one here, which is a bit of a different look, and I don't think the pick and roll up at the top and is necessarily the best way to beat that. It worked once or twice, but I think we struggled when we went to go set. This is why I think the pick and roll looked worse, is we struggled when we set the pick and roll at the top of the key or out here again tonight, because again, the defense, while they doubled a little bit, they were also sort of hanging back and reading what we were going to do off that pick and roll, and it kind of was like a weird dichotomy with how we usually see it. So I think that threw us off a little bit on the pick and roll. But again, I like the different stylistic approach. I think if had we attacked that box and one, like I kind of described, by getting guys on the baseline behind the defense, Luka off ball, and with his dribble here on the extended post, which is kind of weird because I saw that so much in the Boston game. And I think the pick and roll and getting the ball to the middle would have been much better against Boston. And this time, I think we should have got Luka the ball much more on the extended post area with his dribble. And I think we could have done a lot more to exploit the middle of the floor off of that than coming out here and using the pick and roll. So that's where I think we left some points on the table. So thanks for watching. I'll come back with I'll do some, I don't know.